listening to the Renaissance Men podcast. Listen and subscribe on patreon.com. Now here's your host, Stuart Garrard.
Good evening and welcome to episode 102 of the Renaissance Men podcast. I am your host, Garrard. And joining me this week are my good brothers, Seddon, Mideon and Jimmy the Saint. How's it going, Jimmy?
It's good. It exhausted me. I was ready to do a big, Chris Jericho turnaround opening, you know, big countdown. And then Seddon was watching porn by the sounds of it on his phone, which threw me a little bit. You know, I didn't think we were there yet, but no, I'm good. I'm good. Stu.
Jimmy, I'm not interested in you anymore. I want to say, no, I was doing the bloody sound check, and that's why I put myself on mute, and I didn't realise Stu had knocked us all off mute. That's why that was coming through.
Okay. Smooth.
Anyway, back to you, Jimmy, because we missed you so much.
Yeah, well, I missed you guys. I was off last week. I had things to take care of. I also thought, being there was a short podcast, people take care of, but it was a shorter one. It was about football and gaming, which are not two of my strongest points. So I thought they can handle it. But I'm back. I also wasn't drinking last week, and I don't like to do the podcast without drinking. So I'm celebrating 2 weeks sobriety with some prosecco.
Happy days, chin chin. Yes, we did miss you last week, but we had a curtailed show. But I wish we hadn't really bothered, to be honest with you, because the England-Scotland game was awful, wasn't it? It really was awful.
You mean you wish you hadn't have bothered stopping early? Exactly
right. Well, good to have you, Jimmy, as always. Seddon, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate, not bad. I was just wondering why Jimmy has come out of 2 weeks of sobriety and decided to drink the world's shittest drink.
Was it Blue Nut?
Prosecco. I mean, it's fucking awful, man. What are you doing to yourself?
It's Plaza Centro. Do you know it?
I don't care who makes it, Jimmy. It's Prosecco. That's a drink that's designed only for young girls who've never had a drink before, surely.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah, you haven't seen the rest of my audience.
Yeah.
I'm sharing it with.
Oh, God. We're going to get some dancing girls in the background later. And also, while I'm focusing on Jimmy, have you moved rooms?
Yes, the Fox has moved into the conservatory,
nice.
And I've had to move out. No, the heavens opened earlier, and the rain was so loud in the conservatory that I did a recording to see what it sounded like, and it sounded like I was in a waterfall. So I had to move into the lounge. And I've had to move my wife and 100 children into their bedrooms,
into the attic, where they'll ultimately end up one day.
I've been we get some kind of stars in their eyes type reveal from that door behind you.
Yes, that would be grand. Yeah,
probably will.
Child coming out dressed as David Bowie or something to perform.
I'd love it to be the best stars of your eyes of all time. I don't know if everyone's seen it. I think it's in Portugal, and it is a white lady, and they go, "Who are you going to be tonight?" And she says, "Tonight I'm going to be Stevie Wonder." And she comes out in blackface, wig. Someone even leads her to her piano. She's in blind face as well, and she sings. She sings. I think it's just called "Say I Love You." If we can get it on the show at some point, it's the best Stars in Your Eyes ever.
Was she any good?
Awful.
No, she's fucking appalling. She sounds nothing like him. So she looks more like him.
As I say, she put all the effort into her costume rather than her ability to do the song.
Yeah.
I like it.
I could have done it as well if I would have had the balls to do blackface in 2000.
I think I think you probably had the decency not to do it. I think that's the real trick.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, when she sent in her application and they said, "What are you going to do?" They must have just gone, "We've got to get her on just to see if she does it." And there you go, she did it.
Well, she got confused. She thought she was coming on Stevie Nicks, and then it just all went wrong. She did come back out once they started applying the makeup. It's a bit dark, isn't it? No, Stevie has it like this. Okay.
Why is there a piano out there? Why is someone leading me out?
Good to have you, Seddon. Mideon, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm trying to pick a point where I've not got my mouth full. Not because I'm single now and I've turned gay and I've got 2 fuckboys around here or anything like that. It's
fuck boys.
I like the way as well. You went for 2. You go, look. I'm trying to get my persona across here. I'm not just having one
enough anymore, mate.
I'm not having one fuck boy. I'm a man.
Exactly, was not enough. I mean, on Tinder, mate. Speaking to people, the first person I spoke to was a weirdo. She was like, "Yeah, I like situations where it's 2 girls and 1 guy." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I like those situations too."
How's the dating scene these days, Mid? I mean, it's been a while since I've done it.
Courting.
Courting. Okay, courting. Is it?
Yeah, it's insane. It's like 20 years have passed me by, and I don't know what the hell's going on anymore.
So are you doing the swipey one?
Yeah, swipey. Yeah.
How old are you now, Mid?
39.
That's the same age as me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've often spoke to friends about that, and they've said, "Oh, it'd be great to be single, again or whatever." And I go, "I bet it's scary and exhausting."
Oh, God.
Yeah,
but with really high bits as well. But then
the problem is, I'm like really picky, so like loads of people have liked me and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I'm not interested, man. That's the problem.
I've done it like a few times when I've been in the pub with people like pre-COVID who were on sort of Tinder and stuff like that, and I said, let's have a look. And fucking hell, people are brutal on that. Like, they've not even looked for more than a second and they're getting rid of them. I'm going, look, let's read about them. They might be all right. They might have some good hobbies. They might have some interests. And they're just like, no, fuck off. They're ugly.
Nah, the first photo, mate. If that first photo is no good, you just swipe across and that's
exactly what they were telling me. They said, you learn very quickly. If you ain't got a good first photo, you're dead in the water in that game. So, yeah.
I mean, but on the other side of things, like you say, sometimes that's funny because are we liking someone who looks all right, but then when they talk to you, they're like boring as fuck, man. So it's like, I don't know. You got to try and find some...
Is your profile pic just a big round M?
Yeah, that's why I get loads of likes. If it was my face, I'd just literally get none.
I like that. That's good.
I've got to hide the way I look, you see. It's so hideous. I've got to hide behind the grey.
He's a man of mystery, is our Mid. Well, good to have you, brother. I hope it improves for you.
I had an offer on my house today as well.
Oh, yes. Well done.
That wasn't via Tinder, though, I imagine.
Cheers.
I like 2 girls and to have your house afterwards. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The girls are included. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Nice. So, will you be accepting? Or is that,
no, I've entered a negotiation phase with them. I feel like on episode 1 on the trade blockade or something, trying to negotiate.
Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, Jedi.
That was good.
Thanks.
He looks a bit like him as well. So.
Yeah.
I was going to go for voice acting, but yeah, maybe there's a part.
Droid the car. Well, good to have you all on, boys.
What about you, Stu? How's your week?
Busy. It's been a mixture of busyness at work, but I have had 3 days off to tend to Benj because he has had a little operation on his thumb. I'm hoping that it's the start of his pro Fortnite career now because he's released some tendons in his thumb. He did have a trigger thumb, so he couldn't straighten it. It was like permanently like that. Now he's got a massive club on his fist. He's had a cast set. They've released the tendons, so he can now straighten his thumb, but he's just waiting for that cast to come off. But he's all right, bless him. He's been treated. He's been spoilt thoroughly this week. So
I just want to clarify, because I know you're talking like about your son who's had an operation, but I can't ever resist the chance to take a piss. You're the only man I know who can go, I've been busy at work. I did 2 out of 5 days.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So,
They were a hectic 2 days.
yes, no, that is a fair point, Seddon. I concede that point. Yeah, and I don't think I worked particularly hard on those 2 days as well. So anyway,
Maybe it's good that he's had it done while he's so little.
yeah, we wanted to get it done before he started school in September. So
Yeah, it's not that I'm old or anything, but I had I still got just a quarter of an eardrum in my right ear, and they had to do an operation to sort it out. Yeah,
Really?
and and when I was little, not that I'm really old or anything, but the operation hadn't been invented yet, so they had to wait until I was old and then older, and then they could do the actual operation on my ear. So
medical science has caught up.
You had to wait for the future. See, living in the future.
What do they do? Replace it? Or?
no, they just they repaired it basically, so it didn't corrode even more. So I'm just left with the quarter of the eardrum and nothing, and totally deaf. I would have gone deaf, they say, if they didn't do anything at all. So
Okay.
might have been better being here, but yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, some days that would have been a blessing, wouldn't it?
Well, I got you a few extra sympathy swipes on Tinder.
It is quite good because the guy who lives next door, as you know, I've said
Is he
before, he's
blind?
really loud. No, he's
you
really loud.
recreating? So you know
He's really loud at the weekend when he gets pissed. So I can just, when I try and sleep, all I have to do is lie on that ear, mate, and I can't lie on my good ear. Sorry, and I can't hear fuck all. So
My good ear.
But before we move, my good ear, my mum's got a good ear. Sleep on my good ear. Before we move on, can I just ask Seddon? Like you've gone pop crazy, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, isn't it?
Yeah,
You've
there's
gone
been
absolutely Funko Pop crazy.
a few pops have appeared in the house. Yeah. They're all bargains though. So, and apparently, my missus has built up quite a relationship with the postman in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. So rather than just banging her now, he brings a parcel.
Have a conversation.
Yeah, they actually know each other's names now. So the thing is, I just did that gag, and I know she's now started listening to this show, so I'm gonna get a fucking caning for that later.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Well,
But yeah,
mentioned.
I have been I've been buying a few pops, and again, thanks to you though, Jimmy. But I have got my Always Sunny collection done now, just behind me, and there's a load of Marvel ones and a few TV ones appeared at the back. So, but you know, a lot of mystery boxes and things like that. But bloody great hobby this.
You've got Mac. My Mac hasn't turned up yet. My Nightman Mac.
Got him for a
not
bargain.
Mac and me.
Absolute bargain as well. Some dude on a Facebook group sold into me for pretty much pishall. So good on that lad if he ever listens to the show.
I have I've purchased my first Funko Pop as well.
Gateway drug. I
went for the Groundhog Day. As soon as I saw the Punxsutawney Phil and Phil Connors Funko Pop, I knew that had to be mine. So
yeah,
that will go up there shortly next to Nick.
I got a very cool one actually the other day. Hold on, I'll go and get it. You talk amongst yourselves.
yeah, I'm in a strange situation where I've got a lot of shit in my spare room and I collect a lot of crap. Yep. So Funko Pops and all that will probably be good for me. But since I'm moving, every time I look at something, I'm like, I don't want to buy it because I'm just gonna have to move it. I'll wait until I've moved.
And again, Mid, I know that you're a big collector as well, and I know, I mean, there's a bit of me that says I'd recommend against it because it is really addictive. Once you actually start going through all the lines that they've got, they just do everything, and you just go, fucking hell, I'll have one of them, I'll have one of them. But yeah, I wouldn't do it with a move either because that's going to be bad. No, that is pretty cool.
Nice. Chris Lacey, welcome to the chat, Chris. By the way, his Wayne's World hockey one came today. I saw that on Facebook. Does look pretty cool. Obviously, a double pack Wayne and Garth in their hockey gear. Yeah.
Game on!
Exactly. That's the exact quote that Chris put on his Facebook.
So just last one on the Funko Pops. I won't go too much, but I bought some off eBay this week, and I haven't actually opened them yet. I've got them over there, and I will open them. But like how you buy stuff from shops and they come in like branded boxes and stuff like that. They sent it out in a fairy non-bio box. And I come in that evening and I didn't know it had even been delivered. And I just saw that on the side thinking it's just some fairy non-bio. And eventually Andrea just turned around to me later in the evening and just went, yeah, it's really weird. Someone has sent us some fairy non-bios. I don't know why. But yeah, brilliant. But it was really good. And I only say that because it's next to my computer right now and I can see it looking back at me, but that'll be opened after the show.
Excellent.
Yeah, when I sell phones, I always put them in cat food boxes.
Oh, brilliant.
Whiskers, we're like a Whiskers box, mate.
Stink of meat.
I love that. The kind of like eBay review. Packaging excellent. Product stunk of fish.
Oh dear! Surely you could find something better than that.
They're a good size. They're a good size for a phone box. You think how big a phone box is, and then a little.
Slip it into like the sachet of like a
Oh, no,
Faraday bag.
Claim it as some sort of phone carrier. Charge them a tenner extra.
That's good. It's interesting what people send it in, isn't it? Like if anyone's watched my unboxing of the Star Wars figures I bought, the original ones, some of them came in a Marks and Spencer's bag, and me and John was really excited that it was in a Marks and Spencer's bag because you knew it'd come from a good home.
Yes.
So you knew the figures might be a better quality if it say come in a cat food box. Or something.
Yeah, briefly, we mentioned your Beskar spear video last week, Jim.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much for that.
No, that was
180 quid. If I heard you say you didn't know the price, 180 quid. Which I thought was a bargain.
Yeah, it did look good. It looked a quality item.
Yeah.
No, it's basically just a metal pole.
Yeah, that screws together and has a spear on the end.
True. I didn't get to see it up close, but
the metal alone for that probably cost about 60 quid, 70 quid. So then the work that's gone into it.
Yeah. It looked good. Right. Oh, that was a rather nice intro. We'll crack on with the having a look at the Cult of Egg highlights from this week. And as always, we've got an Ask Us Anything, so I just need to call up my screen for you.
I appreciated last week the answers to my question, the Ask Us Anything, of who is the greatest footballer of all time.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed hearing Seddon take the piss out of me about if it wasn't Ronaldo, I wouldn't know who it was.
We could have said anything.
Stu, I'm a big fan of Pele.
From his acting career.
Yeah.
He's pushing of the Viagra as well.
Oh yeah. I forgot he was a big advocate for that, wasn't he?
Was big advocate. Right, let's kick things off. We missed his comment last week, so for that I'm sorry, Chris. But this week we'll start with you, and he's asked, is it possible for the papers to not bring up the war when discussing the imminent England versus Germany last 16 tie coming up this Tuesday? What do we think? I haven't seen any of that yet, but it could come. It could come. We do seem to be a nation obsessed. We almost fetishize World War II, don't we?
You want it to come, Stu, obviously, don't you? That's your thing. You love rubbing it in the German's face.
Yeah,
I think it will never stop. Whilst we've still got those awful newspapers, the Sun, the Mirror, any of the red banners, it's always going to come because they're just awful, aren't they? Just awful people.
Yeah, it's not going to stop, is it? They know they get the crowds in when they book it like that. It's like if Roman Reigns ever wrestled Seth Rollins, they would always bring up the fact they were in the Shield together. You know, you got to book it like that, mate. That's the way it is. That's what brings the crowds in.
That's the only reason they go, to see if we can beat them again.
Exactly.
Yeah, who will win? Age-old enemies. We're supposed to be getting on with each other.
I mean, if the players started pulling out fucking M1 rifles and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, we've got problems.
But you're right about our age-old enemies, and they're the old enemy, aren't they? Until we get a game like 2 weeks beforehand against Scotland, who are also the old enemy, and then France, they are also the old enemy. I think what we're learning here is we fucking hate everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reciprocal as well.
That game against Sweden, that's about the only time that we don't claim that they're an old enemy. Even Poland get a load of that, didn't they? Because we get them so often in tournaments. But I know we talked about it on chat this week, and there was a bit of. I mean, for me, like I don't feel that rivalry anymore with Germany, other than like the same kind of equivalent as rivalry with any team. And I was saying like my most hated teams and the ones that I really sort of want to see us beat Argentina and Portugal. Like the Germany thing is dead to me since we beat them 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, even like Germany and Portugal or whatever, when the cameras pan to the crowd, they don't have these gammons that we have, mate. They're not.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the crowd that's been at Wembley? Yeah, there's a distinct type.
Oh, yeah,
you know, generally quite pink in complexion. You know, they are a typical gammon. They are pink. They are big, fat, pink, tattoos all over them. I'm not generalising anyone here in the chat, watching the show. But
Yes,
you know,
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Speaking of the chat, we have got a very good comment here from the chat about the only rivals Germany have are the Dutch in football, not England. And again, I think that's another sort of valid point, that for a long time, we saw them as our bitterest rivals, and they saw them as that team that they could just beat.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. They were quite happy to see us in a draw, I reckon.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Very true.
I mean, now we've got teams that are equally as bad, so that we're just competing to see who's the worst team at this point.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of the football. I haven't watched any of it. Also.
Are you
And
surprised?
usually I would watch a bit. If like I've had ill kids again, and with lockdown in places. So, mate, I was COVID testing yesterday. Temperatures, nightmare. No one's got COVID, but everyone's still got temperatures. But I haven't had a chance to, get with any of the guys and watch the football. I wouldn't watch it on my own. That's not how I roll. But has anyone been good? Has England done anything good? Or has anyone done anything good?
Well, I mean, let's get into this now. It was a discussion topic for later in the show, but let's bring it up now.
Yeah, we're in the world of football.
It's a logical point. So, England have made the last 16. Kind of unspectacularly ground their way through the tournament. Not blowing anyone away, but not really
on the
blown
other
away.
side. As a counter argument to that, though, I'd say you could also say comfortably as well. They've not been in any risk or any danger at any point. They've done it quite comfortably.
I thought they were in danger against my team of Scotland.
Oh, no.
No matter what my Scottish father said.
Well, of course, very trustworthy man, I'm sure, but not on this occasion. No, they weren't in any danger against Scotland either. But they've just, as I say, comfortably qualified out of a group, and boringly, I would add.
Yeah, I think they're just, like you say, they've just cruised through. It'll be interesting to see when they can, because we've not conceded a goal yet. I'll be interested to see what the reaction in the team is like when we concede a goal.
That's a big point.
If they actually kick themselves up the arse and actually start attacking and being a bit more aggressive, because it's just plodded along at the minute, isn't it? So,
and sometimes that's the worry, isn't it? If you plod for too long, it's really hard to find that next gear. Whereas, if you've had that game where you've really been at risk or someone scored against you, then you kind of have to raise your game. But we've not been tested yet, I would say.
No, and this game against Germany on Tuesday will be our first test of the tournament. And the Germans haven't been spectacular themselves throughout.
Well, they were pretty spectacular when they beat Portugal 4-2.
Well, there was that.
Which is, and again, I know that, and it's that recency bias, isn't it? I mean, I think that's one of the things about these tournaments. And I know we were doing it on chat the other day, but it was kind of like people only remember the last game. But this is a tournament, and in that group, as I say, I mean, Germany haven't looked like the powerhouse that sometimes they can look. But I don't know. I'd take any. I wouldn't want to face any team that can beat Portugal 4-2.
Let's just quickly run down the 16 qualifiers that have gone into the next stage. So you've got Belgium, Portugal, Italy. Oh, God, this is going to show my knowledge of flags now. Austria, France,
Australia, America,
Switzerland,
the Klingons,
Croatia, Spain, Sweden, Ukraine, England, Germany, Holland,
Netherlands.
Okay, fair point. I think that's the Czech Republic. Is that Czech Republic?
Yeah, Czech Republic.
Wales and Denmark.
Oh,
I got through it, boys. I got through it. So, yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of questions I wanted to bring up during this discussion. Is the first being, what have been your tournament highs and lows so far? For me, the low being obviously the Christian Eriksen and his unfortunate incident in the first Denmark game.
That was a high for me. First interesting thing in football I've seen in years.
So that was obviously a tragedy. Obviously he's not dead, but he came close to it. But I don't know, highs. I think last night. No, not the last. No, wasn't. When was that?
It was
Thursday. Was that?
It was Wednesday, wasn't it? It was the Group F night, wasn't it?
That was amazing.
8 o'clock kickoffs. That was an amazing bit of football.
Yeah, so
It was good watching Portugal have every position in the table.
Yeah.
It was just funny.
Group F, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Concluded on Wednesday night, and obviously in the third game, all the games kick off simultaneously, so no one gets an advantage. And I had the Germany-Hungary game on because there'd been a goal scored in the first 10 minutes. So when I came on and tuned in late, I saw there was a goal and I just thought, oh, well, I'll watch that because Hungary had beaten Germany. And then goals started coming in from the Portugal-France game, and this affected who England were going to play in the next round. And, everyone's position in the table was changing after each goal. It was so entertaining. It was a great night of football, having both of those games playing out at the same time.
The best thing about the Portugal-France game was the referee is a complete lunatic, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing him ref more matches.
Like Earl Hebner.
Yeah, he just gives these penalties, mate. He's just like, yeah, it's a penalty. He doesn't even check the VAR could prove it wasn't. And then he's just like, yeah, I'll give it. Forget it.
I must admit, that's what I loved about him. It was for all of this stuff around go VAR for everything, go VAR. This ref weren't having none of that, was he? He was just like, no, I've made my fucking decision. Crack on. I'm not looking at a video. I've seen what I've done.
But then near the end, for the last 10 minutes, he decided to use VAR. He was like, okay, we'll use it now.
Yeah.
Carl said it was tough watching Group F. I'm assuming, Carl, you. I don't want to assume too much, but
he's German.
Okay,
yeah, he's
German. That's what I was going to ask you. I bet it was being a German fan. You kind of it was touch and go for the Germans there for a while, but they obviously came good in the end, as the German team tends to do.
Yeah, and plus at least you got a free pass to the next round, so it's okay.
As a German fan, Carl, I'll be interested to see your opinion of how do you think the England-Germany game will go? Just give us a little chat.
Yes, if he says 5-1, I'm not putting it up.
If Kane starts, then we might as well just turn it off.
Yeah. He hasn't been good, has he? He hasn't lit the tournament up like he did the World Cup as such. But did he really light up the World Cup as well? I know he got the golden boot, but
he just had sitters all the time, didn't he?
Yeah.
He can't beat anyone in a run whatsoever. He's too slow.
His tongue's too heavy, I think.
Yeah, big old baboon face. When we did episode 100,
as I say, sorry, there's the other side of the coin. I guess someone who's maybe a bit disenfranchised with how their team's doing, going, I think England will do well, whereas I think a lot of us would go, oh, no fucking way. Germany will do very well, thank you very much.
Well, I was going to say, when we did episode 100, I mean, I can't remember a lot of it because I drunk too much gin, but I picked Germany as my team. I remember that much. Is everyone else's team still in it?
Yeah, I picked Italy.
Who obviously had England?
Yeah, I think. Where did I pick Croatia?
I can't remember now.
I think so.
My second question was, we've seen the first rounds play out. Who are our favourites now going into the knockout stage? Who do we think's names on the trophy?
Stick 'em under people. Germany.
Yeah, Carl agrees with you. Germany not looking to defend well, solid in midfield. Germany might clinch it at the end and just about win it. He's obviously talking about it.
See, I think Italy have looked good. I feel like, but again, I think there's 4 or 5 teams that really got a shout at winning it, and like a good shout at winning it. And I think there are 3 or 4 outside of that could also get into the mix. I think it's a really open tournament at this point, and some teams haven't yet turned up as good as they probably can be. But yeah, I just hope for good matches from this point out. I think we really could be in for something, and I've got a real sneaky love for Wales. Not to win it, but I really think that they could get past Denmark in the next round, and again, knockout after that. Who knows?
Yeah,
I'd love to see them get to the semis or something. But
I think out of all the games that I've watched and all the teams, I still think France are going to win. If they play their best game, I don't think anyone can beat them. And they've not played their best game so far. They've been middling. But if they play really well, I don't think they can be beaten.
I feel like they've been cruising. Italy look good, but I feel like Italy are playing like pretty much at their optimum. Yeah. I don't know if there's many more gears for them to go, whereas France look like they're just cruising.
Yeah, that's why I said France, because it's better to get better as the tournament goes on rather than start off amazing,
Yeah, potentially they've hit their stride too early, haven't they? And often we say these teams. I mean, Spain is another one that gets into that same mix of what you're saying, Mid, about France. I think Spain have still got a lot of gears in them, and I think they could over the next couple of rounds, you could really see what they truly can do. But yeah, as I say, I just think grand and England. You know, like I don't beforehand. I don't think England are going to win it, but I think England could win it. I think they're solid enough to be able to win a tournament in this structure, but the way they're playing, I'd be very, very surprised if they did.
Yeah, they haven't filled me with confidence, as that, you know, in their games. You know, they just. It's funny.
Yeah, the problem with our team as well is if you watch the other teams, they stay. Apart from injuries, obviously they stay. This is our team. This is the team we're picking. Southgate keeps swapping every damn game, man. He's always swapping around, changing things. Every other team has just played the same team, mate. It's
hard, isn't it? Because I think
he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't on that squad.
But I don't think he is he? I think and this has been an England thing even before Southgate. Is you're supposed to go into these tournaments knowing what your best team is.
That's fair.
And we haven't, and I think that's because he's done that chopping and changing all the way through groups and qualifying. And maybe it's because he just doesn't feel like he's ever found that best team. But I think sometimes you just have to go pick a system and go with it and put the best players you've got for that system in. And yeah, I think it shows on the pitch. I think that's why we are probably more underwhelming than some of the other teams because, as you say, Mid, like I think playing a consistent team really makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. There certainly doesn't seem to be much fluidity about how we play. It has been very ploddy. That's been the word of the tournament.
Yeah.
Ploddy.
Yeah.
You know, no fluidity or, you know,
that have not trained together as much as other teams is what it looks like when you're watching it. Because you watch other teams, they like pass the ball up and all that. Every time we get it, long ball. There we go. Whack it up. Hope someone gets on the end of it. Every other team is like passing fluid into the box. We just long ball. And it never works.
Feels a bit Sunday leaguey at certain points for me, because that's how we used to play. Yeah, we just go lump the ball up there. Someone will get one of the quick lads to get on it.
Yeah,
get the fuck away from me and get one of the quick lads on it.
Yeah, anyone that's not playing well, like Kane, they just need to, put Rashford in or something. Forget about it. Yeah, it's Kane is the captain, but if he's not turning up, and people like Saka and Grealish, they need to start every game.
Yeah,
not be messing around.
I mean, that last game, I think that was one of the things that was noticeably different. I do think it was the best performance we'd had because of Saka and Grealish. I think they actually gave us some attacking impetus and made the other team's defence worry, which is what you're supposed to do in football, is make the other team have to worry about you, not just tap it along in the line and then pass it backwards like we are prone to doing.
Yeah, especially Saka, he was drawing like 3-4 defenders every time he got the ball.
Yeah, it was good.
And Grealish is always a good one for getting you the old free kicks wherever you need them.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, a tournament that hasn't really kicked off yet does start to get going. Now you into the knockout games. It's where the exciting stuff starts. I don't think it's a tournament we'll look back on with any real highlights or anything. I certainly won't. This doesn't feel like it's been a great tournament.
Yeah, not at the moment, but now it's knockout. It changes. Yeah. It's going to get better.
Yeah, I think most tournaments you remember it from the knockouts onwards, don't you? I mean, there's been the odd great group out there, but yeah, generally it's this point, isn't it? It's when you get those 90-minute games, or it goes to penalties, or whichever way. This is where you get your make or break on a tournament of whether it's going to be considered a great one or not.
What game would you recommend I watch to get me into the? I mean, obviously, I want to watch England-Germany.
Hockey.
When is that on?
England-Germany is on Tuesday, mate. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Yeah, I'm busy.
5 o'clock on Tuesday. If I was going to recommend games to probably have the better football, there's 3. There's probably Netherlands, Czech Republic, Belgium, and Portugal, and Croatia and Spain. Those ones would be good. So
I like Spain. Does that chap still play for Spain who was really good? What's his name? Messi? Is he Spanish?
No. I think the Netherlands, Czech
the Messi
Republic
fellow. What's his name?
I reckon the Netherlands, Czech Republic is a good shout for a game to watch, because I think that could be a cracker. Dutch are always good to watch.
I'd also throw in there Wales, Denmark, because Wales are playing well. They're up for the game. Denmark, I think they've been buoyed on by, what happened to Eriksson. I think that could be a real tasty affair tomorrow.
I hope so.
I think Yeah, I think whoever wins that could go pretty far.
When are you free, Jimmy? We'll send an email to UEFA and see if they can schedule one around you.
Maybe on Sunday at some point. Is there anyone playing
Sunday?
on the Sunday?
This Sunday 5 o'clock and Sunday 8 o'clock. I can't remember what the games are off the top of my head, but yeah, there are games.
Yeah, Sunday 8 o'clock is Belgium Portugal. That'll be a good one.
Oh, I might be able to make that. Yeah, tell them I'll make it.
That's good of you.
No.
I don't think we've got any more questions from the Ask Us Anything, but just going on to the discussion threads, and I wanted to highlight something that Chris Lacey posted. Again, let me share this with you boys. And it was a video regarding a collaboration between the Foo Fighters and Dave Chappelle.
I saw this.
Yeah, it's quite good. Where are we?
I was hoping for more than what we got from Dave, because I'm a big fan of Dave Chappelle, so I was going, oh, he's going to kill it. But
I imagine you're a big fan of his comedy rather than his singing career, though, yeah?
Yeah. And his fashion.
Let's see if I can get this up.
I've been asking my wife for a jumpsuit for about 3 years, and she won't get me one.
Just get your onesie instead and say, crack on, use that.
Well, I think maybe it was 2 years ago I asked, because Dave did a show. Dave did a show.
my mate Dave.
And it's his own clothing brand. It's like a green jumpsuit. He might be wearing it here, actually. No, he's wearing a T-shirt.
This shit out in front of you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome our lead vocals, Dave Chappelle's here. Come on, sing something. If you know the words, sing them with me. We were here before. Look you in the eyes. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. It's so like the feather. I'm living in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so fucking special. But I'm afraid.
You get the general idea.
Very good. Brilliant song, brilliant band, brilliant comedian. Good fun. I liked it.
I'll agree with one of those things.
The only thing
Good
I would
song.
say, the only
It's a
thing,
brilliant
well,
song, yeah. Yeah, it's one of my favourite songs of all time.
I was gonna say,
A good comedian and an average band.
Ooh.
Mm.
Ooh.
They're very good live. I've seen them 3 times front row. They're really good live, man.
But this collaboration brought another question to my mind. In a week of questions, the most
Stu,
random
sorry,
duets of all time.
Stu, just before we go on to that, sorry, I need justification from Seddon on Foo Fighters.
Okay, I just
like,
accept these opinions. Once you accept these opinions, it's a lot easier.
No, but we're supposed to have arguments on this show, aren't we? Otherwise, we always should agree. And me and Seddon mostly agree on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But like Mid's been to him 3 times, so clearly he thinks he's good. I think they've got some really good songs. I don't know huge amounts of songs, but I know they've got an album out where they're covering some Bee Gees stuff, which looks like good fun.
I think maybe that's the problem, though, isn't it? And I think Mid's probably right. And again, I know that they've got a big thing about, like they did there with Dave Chappelle, and I know that they put a lot of effort into their live shows, and I know they get a lot of guests out. And I think what you said there, Jimmy, is some of their songs. And I think that's the problem. I think that's why they're an average band, because people know some of their songs. But actually, if you listen to their albums, it's normally 2 to 3 good tracks and a lot of filler and a lot of similar filler to all their other songs. And again, they've got a massive following. They remind me a lot of kind of the fame that U2 got by kind of rinsing and repeating and doing the same again, and actually just doing a couple of belter songs every now and again, but generally releasing average albums.
Yep, you've turned me. I agree. They're all right. But, and you know what? Dave Chappelle, I do like a lot. I think some of his stuff.
Yeah, I think he's a good. That's what I said.
Some of his stuff, I don't like. He still does some stuff that's a bit homophobic in this day and age, and it's a bit like, come on, like, I know some of it can be kind of funny, but it's not good enough. It's not worth. It's not worth. I don't know. His last one was his last show he did was just after George Floyd, and he did a show called 8 minutes 37 seconds or something like that. It was the amount of time that the cops knee was on George's neck, yeah, and it was more like a sort of political broadcast really than a comedy show. But his one before that, he did quite a lot of a good few homophobic jokes. He used to do quite a lot of whiteface as well, didn't he? In a time when you couldn't do blackface, apart from that woman on Stars in Your Eyes who could do it. But
apart from Roddy Piper.
yeah.
He did whiteface. He did white characters, didn't he? And again, I thought it was very funny. I like Dave. But great song. Mid, what do you think of the Foo Fighters? You've seen them 3 times.
Yeah, like I say, live, great. Obviously, live, they don't play the middling songs that you guys are on about on the albums. I get what you're saying. A lot of the albums, I've only got a couple of good songs on. But I think that's the same with most bands, isn't it? I think they've been going for as long as the Foo Fighters have. They've got their hits, and obviously they can't have a hit with every single song. So they've obviously pumped out a lot of music over the years. So
I think that's one of the things we don't talk about a lot on the show, is it music? And I think we'll start integrating it in. But I think that's the big thing for me. And you're right, like what band can belt out classic after classic after classic? But I think over the years I've come to love bands and albums that maybe there's 1 or 2 that dip low down, but the rest of the kind of quality of the album, I don't know, like it follows like an upward curve mainly for it, rather than going, here's 2 good songs and a load of fluff. I tend to gravitate towards bands where I think, that 9 out of 10 tracks are really bloody good, and I'd listen to them over and over again.
I mean, generally with music and bands and singers and all that, you tend to find like their earlier stuff when they were hungry and not so famous is way better than when they get famous.
Well, it's really tough, isn't it? Because as soon as you start making money, they've probably back in the good old days when people would like play gigs and things like that and have to fight for a record contract, and they've fought for years, living in vans, no money, eating any shit they can, and they get a record out, they make some money, the record company says, do that again and you'll make even more money. I'd love to say, I mean, again, it's that putting people on a pedestal, and I put musicians on a pedestal that I think is unfair, because if it was me and the record company said, just trot out the same old shit again and you'll earn millions, I'd go, yeah, okay, I'm on for that. But I put an expectation that actually they're going to continue to be creative. And as you say, I think the hunger goes after a while because they've made it at that point.
Do you think the Foo Fighters sort of made it from the start because of Dave Grohl?
Yeah.
So they didn't necessarily have to, like straight away they could have done big gigs.
I mean, their first album was amazing, I thought.
And I think it was their best one, Stu. I'm with you on that. I think their first one was the one album where I think it was like above average on every song with some really good ones. And weirdly enough, I mean, Dave Grohl, I think, is a big attraction point for it. And of the 3 projects that Dave Grohl has been really big in, I would say Foo Fighters is the worst. I prefer Queens of the Stone Age and I prefer Nirvana to Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
But it's probably the one that now he is most famous for.
Sorry, Stu.
No, that's good chat there, Jimmy.
Your question was better, but I just wanted to get.
What was your question? Sorry, we landed on that. I forgot what the question was now.
It was what was it? It wasn't
collaborations.
Oh yeah, most random duets of all time. and I'm thinking musically, I think it's probably the strings.
Well,
going with this.
the Foo Fighters had Rick Astley on, didn't they? Like years ago, and that was great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think for me, probably they're not really a band, are they? They are a comedy act, but I think the song "Lonely Island" did with Michael Bolton about Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain Jack Sparrow. I love that one.
Oh, I never heard
What?
that.
You never heard of it? Come on, man, it's amazing.
No,
No,
that
I
sounds
won't, I
good.
won't bring it up now, but that is certainly going in the old memory bank.
I was going to say, please finish that sentence because I think you're going to say wank bank.
Well, I was trying to think of memory bank, but all I had was wank bank in my head.
Well, you know.
Well, they did do a song
Console,
"Jizz in My
console.
Pants" as well, didn't they? So
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Shout from the chat for Linkin Park and Jay-Z as the best collaborative album.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it was very good how the songs melded together. That was probably more on Jay-Z's part, mixing them together like that. But the good thing about that album is they always sound like they were made together, not two separate albums put together. The songs sounded like they were originally meant to be like that.
As a counter shout to that one, and of course they didn't do it together, but Hunt Down the Grey album, which is and it was DJ Danger Mouse, and he mixes Jay-Z's Black album with the Beatles' White album. And again, like you said there, Mid, it feels like they were made together at the same time. Now, you have to find it on things like YouTube because the Beatles are quite protective, and they didn't take very kindly to it, so they refused it being released and then tried to sue the fella for lots and lots of money. But it is a cracking mix.
I'd always throw in, and it's interesting you bring up the Beatles. Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney was always a strange collaboration.
I love their stuff though. It is odd, but I love it, man. I love it.
I haven't heard
Ivory.
any of it.
The Girl Is
Isn't that
Mine.
Stevie
What
Wonder?
a song. The Girl Is Mine. What a song.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Something about that combination.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
One of my favourite songs of all time is Bowie and Queen.
Bowie's done some good ones.
Under Pressure.
Bowie and Arcade Fire was always a good combo. I found. I think they did a live show together. That was awesome.
Yes,
Bowie beating out some Arcade Fire tunes.
you can find Bowie doing some weird songs on YouTube. I saw him doing "Hurt" on YouTube with a different band. I can't remember what band it was with. That was
the
was
Alice
good.
in Chains hurt. The Alice in Chains song.
No, the Johnny Cash "Hurt."
Oh, because I was going to say the best cover of Her is Kermit the Frog. Again, find it on
I haven't
YouTube.
heard that.
Oh, Kermit the Frog. Yeah, it's an unofficial cover, obviously, because when he's got a needle in his arm because he's taking in heroin, I don't think Jim Henson kind of would sign up on that one. But it is a cracking version.
I'm pretty sure Queen also did a collaboration with the boy band Five. They did it.
Yes,
they did a song together as well. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember what it was. Let me try and. We Will Rock You. We Will Rock You. That was it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Elton John's
Five
done
and Queen.
Elton John's done a few, hasn't he? Elton.
He whores himself out to anyone he does.
RuPaul, he did Elton John and RuPaul, but that wasn't a good song.
Are we meant to be doing weird?
He did one with Blue, didn't he?
Whatever floats your
only because I kind of forgot. Because for good, one of the ones that I absolutely love was Aerosmith and Run DMC for Walk This Way. I think it's amazing.
That was good. Elton John also did one with Princess Diana.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with "Do They Know It's Christmas" by that tramp. What's he called? Bob Geldof, and Sting and all of them lot. That's one of my favourite songs of all time. I like all the Christmas songs though; they're all my favourite songs.
Yeah, obviously we're not mentioning Band Aid or anything. The ultimate collaboration, Live Aid, whatever. All those guys together. There's too many people in there to name. Everyone just remembers Bono with his little bit at the start. But...
Status Quo and the Beach Boys. That was a weird one. I seem to remember.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm. But it's not the Brian Wilson. It's the Beach Boys minus Brian Wilson.
Is Brian Wilson the one who went mad?
Yeah. Like when he sat in his house for a couple of years, went a bit mental.
Yeah.
Yeah. shout out in the chat for any other weird or favourite collabs, musical collabs that you've got. My next story that we raised, that Sugar Daddy Marcus Bryan raised in the Facebook group, and this is one for Seddon. Seddon, have you been tempted by this?
Yeah, I was tempted.
Yeah, we know you have a love of Batman 66, Adam West.
I didn't do it because I thought I can't. And weirdly enough, I was on my way home from work today. I popped into HMV and they've got this. I was initially drawn to it, and it sort of said Batman the decades, and I saw the first figure, and it was Batman of the 40s, and it looked quite a cool figure. So I just thought, I'll have a look. And they have got one for 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Fucking shit you not. Every one of them from the 40s to the 80s was exactly the same figure, just in a different pose. And I went, oh, bullshit, I'm not getting this set. But yeah, that was very tempting to me because, yeah, I love that. I love that TV show. And I don't have, other than my Adam West black and white picture that I can't find, it's in his house somewhere, I don't have enough Batman stuff in there.
Hasn't Jerry Lawler got that car for real?
No way.
Is he?
Has he?
That'd be fucking amazing.
It wouldn't surprise me. He probably lures small children into it.
I was going to say, I'll have to watch out his next divorce settlement to see if he's got to flog it off for cheap on eBay, and I might pick it up.
Yeah, he does like young women.
Yeah, it's not got the original one, but he's got his replica. 2020, I've got a story here. He's selling it though, so maybe he sold it to some young lass.
I love Jerry. I love Jerry the King. He looks great, man. Still got black hair. Yeah, dye's a wonderful thing. Is that Scott Bakula from Quantum?
It does look like it.
I think it is, isn't it?
I assume it's Todd McFarlane.
That is Todd McFarlane, yeah.
Yeah, he's getting old.
It comes with Kapow and
he
Pow.
really is. I mean, look at that. That's a great figure. But great character design as well, like back then. So,
how much
is
it?
A good one, isn't it?
It's got his beer gut and everything.
Back girdle.
Burt Ward on the figure as well.
Yeah, as I say, Burt Ward's doing all manner of things when they bring that figure up.
I'm pretty sure, there's a Lego set of the 66 Batmobile as well.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is.
Yeah, weirdly enough, not to give anything away, but I was in a Lego store recently looking for a present for a special little boy who may or may not be on this podcast. We were considering getting him something Lego. They have a special boy, Jimmy. And we saw the Batmobile in there. But weirdly enough, the Lego store was, one, much more expensive than anywhere else. And two, it really didn't have much of the really good sets. Like we thought it would have all the stuff. We were in Brighton. That's in Brighton. It's when we were on holiday there. Well, they've got them all round, but this was the Brighton one. But yeah, I was Lego store. Yeah, I was quite disappointed by it. But yes, they did have the Batmobile and it did look cool.
Yeah. Better off on Amazon.
Yeah, every time I go in a Lego store, that's all I do is I just load up, type the set into Google and oh look, it's £15 cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking for something that was sub a £5 because it was for a special little boy, and less than a £5. Couldn't even buy one fucking brick in there for that.
The only thing I like about the Lego store is where you can build your own little man or woman, can't you? Did they have that in Brighton? So it's got loads of heads, loads of bodies, loads of legs.
It was closed off, Jimmy, for COVID. You can only buy the sets and stuff like that. You couldn't go anywhere where like they make stuff because they also have a big wall in there of lots of different coloured bricks and stuff like that. And I think the idea is when people aren't fully diseased, kids go in there and go, I like that brick, and they almost do it like a pick and mix. But yeah, all those areas were closed off.
It's great. You can make little people, and like my little girl's making one with wings, and my little boy's trying to get a dinosaur head on it and stuff. And I'm trying to make me, obviously. It's like I'm trying to find a beard.
Obviously, it was Father's Day. We haven't mentioned that this past when was that? Sunday.
Yeah,
a long week.
100 presents.
I'll go for a piss break.
I got a personalised Lego figure.
Yeah,
I can't.
Of you?
It's on the shelf. Yeah, of me.
I saw that. Yeah.
To be fair, all they did was take the hair off it. That's as far as it went.
It is. Yeah. All it is just a Lego man with glasses. With like the circular on the top, but yeah, no hair required. But it was a cool present. I like the idea of those personalised Lego figures. They're cool.
I actually got this T-shirt for.
The T-shirt. We was going to have a big reveal. Have you revealed it?
Well, I'd say don't say it's a big reveal. Whoa!
There's a fox.
I'm not on a desk. I'm on a dinner table.
I would like to think that was your house going. Like the camera was static.
Did you think I was in Star Trek? From the
Yeah.
60s? Sorry, 70s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah, both.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Your
They all
podcast?
chipped in. Well, Stu, yeah. I do you know what? Just a little while ago, I was like, "Can I show that? It's not my."
You
podcast,
could.
Stu." But I have the. I was
Galaxy heads, of course.
I was gonna wear it on the Galaxy Head one, yeah. But then I thought, no, I'll wear it tonight because it fits slightly.
See, that's the problem, Stu. You give him a week's leave, and this is what he turns into. He goes fucking mad with it, like.
It's all gone to me.
Stu, but by the way, I missed it earlier. There was a shout out for your T-shirt as well. I think it was Chris Lacey early on. Yeah. Sorry.
NWA. It's non-official merch because that'd probably be, as we discussed earlier, Jimmy, 50 quid.
I imagine they can't afford actual merch, can they? They got to pay Big Trev's wages, haven't they?
I haven't Colchester Market. Colchester Market with some Giorgio Ciorcini trousers.
We got to pay Mickey James for the next show, even though she said I'm not going to wrestle because I don't want to take the spotlight away from the other women. But then the very next show, I'm wrestling.
The other women they don't employ.
Well, I'm moving on.
I love Mickey James.
Well, you should watch NWA 73 then. She's going to wrestle.
I'll just watch her in her old porn film.
To be honest, probably more people in that porn film were employed by NWA than will be on their show.
Probably got a soundtrack by Corgan as well.
Right, what are we doing now? Let's you spoke about Euro 2020, so that was all good. Right, I'm just going to move on to what we've been playing and watching this week. Shall we talk about Loki? As we've all seen it, we have all seen it, haven't we?
Yeah. I watched it just before the show.
Excellent, and it's the only thing I'm going to bring up this week, really, watching wise. Loki episode 3.
Halfway there. That's a halfway point.
We are halfway there. And I don't feel like much has happened in these 3 episodes. Am I wrong in feeling that?
No, I was messaging my mate on WhatsApp earlier, and he's not seen it. And I was like, "We're 3 episodes in, so we're halfway. But story-wise, I don't know where we're going to go, where we're going from here, because it doesn't feel like it's halfway finished."
I mean, I think we raised this when we was watching Winter Soldier and Falcon. That feels like they've got a lot to do in 3 more episodes, and it felt like the Winter Soldier one had the same issue. I don't know what I feel about this show. If we're going speaking specifically about this episode, I did like we had the big reveal in episode 2 of Lady Loki / Enchantress, whoever it may be.
Sylvie.
Yes.
Sylvia.
What I liked about episode 3 is how it's pretty much just them two, and getting into the weeds of what their relationship will be, and how it's quite a unique relationship because obviously they are the same person but from other multiverses. I found that quite interesting. But
they're totally going to bang as well, aren't they?
Yeah. I did get that impression.
Yeah,
that's going to be weird.
But they both came out in that episode, didn't they, as being bisexual?
Yeah,
which was interesting.
They did. In terms of longer form kind of narrative throughout the episode, it didn't really go very far for me. It was just it's more of a character building episode for me, and that was okay. But I worry where they're going.
Did they spend a lot of time in the episode rather than character building? Did they spend a little bit too much time playing up to Loki being Loki and Tom Hiddleston being Tom Hiddleston rather than delving into the female Loki a little bit more? I think they spent too much time with him just messing around and being Loki when everyone knows that's him anyway. So yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
It just went on for a bit too long.
I agree, Mid. I think you've had two. I thought the first 2 episodes were great, and I thought there was a great partnership built up between Hiddleston and Owen Wilson's character.
Yep.
And then suddenly Owen Wilson's character's gone, and we're trying to build up a little duo with these 2, and it wasn't as good. I don't know I don't know why. It just wasn't as good as I think him and Hiddleston, and also not as good. Him and Owen Wilson, and not as good as him and Thor previous.
Yeah.
Hemsworth. So I don't know why it wasn't as good. I think he was. I agree. You didn't get a lot about her. You got them just sort of fucking around a bit, and him singing songs, and then he did a nice bit of singing, and it was a bit weird, really. It was a bit of a weird episode.
It felt like an episode of Doctor Who. I don't know why. I don't know why that is.
A lot of people are saying that.
It feels like we're all kind of on the same page-ish here, though, of going, there's something there, and we all really want to like it, and there's some good bits, but it's just not quite clicking. There's just something missing for me. Like when I come out of today's episode, or Wednesday's episode, and I watched it with Andrew, and we both kind of went, there wasn't enough there. But it's got great actors. It looks good. I think the idea of the story's good, but there's just something not quite vibing for me. And I've got to be honest, Enchantress, Lady Loki, Sylvie, whatever we go.
Rubbish.
Bad casting for me. Yes. Bad casting. I don't know. I haven't looked her up and seen what else she's done, but she doesn't click and she doesn't feel like Hiddleston-esque. I know they're trying to make her kind of mirror him a bit, but I don't. Not charismatic enough. Spot on. And I think there's a horrible thing to say, but I think there's even something like in the way she speaks and the way her voice is. I just don't think it carries very well in the scenes. And I think she should be. I think they should have written it and casted it for someone who would steal the show from Hiddleston, and it's not clicking for me. And also, in a weird thing, I think they need to settle on what they want this character to be, because if it's Enchantress, then yes, she's blonde. If it's Lady Loki, she's dark-haired, and I think they should have got a dark-haired lass. But that's just, again, the comic book geek in me going, if I'm having a Lady Loki, it should have been a dark-haired lass in it. But no, she's losing me when she's on the screen, and which is a shame.
I'm having a look at what else she's been in. She was in Sweetheart, Silent Witness. Yes, she was in Yesterday, which is that show where the Beatles didn't exist. She was in Click and Collect, which I've seen with Stephen Merchant. It was a Christmas TV movie. Flowers, some show. I think that was with Julian Barrett and Olivia Colman. Comedy show.
Yeah, that might be why it's got a Doctor Who vibe for me, because it's like a lower tier English or British actress in there. Perhaps that's why it's
she's done lots of for me. Lots of one-off stuff.
I think with the thing that I've got now, thinking about it a bit more with the other Marvel shows as well. So you had WandaVision, where Wanda was the bad guy, but she's supposed to be half likable as well. You had Falcon and Winter Soldier, where there was supposed to be a bad Captain America, but towards the end, everyone's kind of liking him again. And then you've got this, where they're trying to make Lady Loki the villain, but she's likable again now. I just want a bad guy, man. I just want someone to be evil.
And don't forget Zemo. They kind of...
Yeah, Zemo's cool, man. He had his dancing bit.
They made him cool. And also, even the villain, the ginger girl with the freckles.
She had a little sympathy storyline, even though most of it got cut because of COVID, but she still had it.
Yeah, I think you could have seen the people in charge of the time stream by now. The three people, at the end of this episode, if they would have given us a bit of them, just seen those three having a chat and gone, okay, they're the big villains. I agree, Mid.
Yeah, I think
this episode just seemed to wander along, didn't it?
Yeah, the best thing about that episode was the throwaway line that she had, that the people in the TVA are not actually from the TVA. Yeah. They weren't born there. They came from somewhere else before that. So that's what I'm most interested in.
Yes.
In looking.
Apart from that, you're right. Yeah. I don't think we got anything new from that episode. That whole episode could have been squashed into probably about 10 minutes, and then there could have been more.
Yeah. Well, like you say, it's not even considered it, but since you said it earlier, and thinking back on the episode, I missed Owen Wilson, man. I missed the interplay between Loki and Owen Wilson was great on the other episodes, and then it's gone now.
Well, and also I think one of the things we talked about, the idea of the show and where we thought it could be really good, is it gives them the opportunity to go and play all around time and all around the universe and do these interesting things. And we ended up going to the future, a dying planet that we knew nothing about or cared nothing about, that just looked really kind of bland. And then, as you say, Loki gets pissed up and sings a song on a train, and then they talk a lot. And you know, I just it didn't click. And at the moment, with 3 episodes to go, I feel like they could have spent a lot more time in this episode doing something like that, like drop us into a familiar place in the Marvel universe and get us into kind of that part of the story that way. But missed opportunities at this point.
Yeah, you could have gone into when Loki's people attacked New York and been in a building in New York before the Chitauri were going to blow the whole thing up, or even something real like the tsunami in Thailand or something. Yeah, you're right. So you could have some connection with some people because you didn't give a shit. You had all those people lining up trying to get on that train, and you didn't really see them much. And you're like, well, they're all going to die anyway. They're going to die. And then you got Loki fucking around in a shitty police uniform going, hello, let me on, please. Yes, I'm bringing this, putting on a stupid fucking voice. It was weak, wasn't it, actually? It was, in retrospect, it was a weak fuck. And he works, if you look at everything that Loki's in, he works best when he's bantering off someone very good.
Yeah. And again, it's
against Thor, and
and that's the thing. We've seen really good Loki stuff, and I think that's the problem. Is that like take the WandaVision series, they were very much sort of bit part players in a lot of those Marvel movies. So when you saw more of them, I think you were interested in it. Whereas we've seen a lot of Loki, we know who Loki is, and again, we said this is a chance for him to tell that story, how he goes from being shithead to good guy, but you need strong people around him, and you need a strong story around it, because we've seen a lot of him already, and we're not learning anything new about him, I don't think.
Yeah, imagine seeing a really good emotional piece from him in that, like, because you saw a little bit of emotion when he was going through the videos of like his family dying and Asgard being destroyed. So if you would put somewhere like the attack on New York, where he had a direct influence on it and he was seeing people getting killed, and you actually saw him breaking down because of it, not just pissing around making jokes, that could have been really interesting. And also, her going, why are you fucking crying? You did this. And,
and also, like, you get the whiz bang then as well, don't you? Because you do want a bit of that in these, I like me indie movies, I like me slow movies, I like this sort of thing. But when you step into the Marvel universe, you do want a bit of action to go along with it. And I don't feel like, but there are so many opportunities so far. But but no way would I say it's bad. I just think it's missing something, isn't it? Like it just isn't quite clicking as much as, the trailers made it look fantastic, and I don't feel like we've hit the height of the trailer yet, let alone like it sort of going beyond that.
Yeah, I think for me, the kind of like, they didn't obviously mean to do it, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot by having WandaVision first. WandaVision was so good, and it affected Falcon and Winter Soldier for me more.
Yeah.
So when I started watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, all I could think about was, this is not as good as WandaVision, is it? But, and that kind of bleeds into that a little bit. Loki, again, halfway through, is nowhere near the quality of WandaVision so far.
Yeah, that's actually quite a good point, Billy. I would have maybe aired Winter Soldier last, and go into the Black Widow, film that's coming out in July. Obviously, they might not have known at that stage where these pieces were going to sit and where Black Widow was going to release. But I think you're probably right there.
I don't know if we were. Sorry, you still talk about, but I don't know if at the very end of this, we've not got it in, but I don't know if you want to slot in the new trailer that came out as well.
Oh yeah, good shout. The Shang-Chi.
Well, weirdly enough, I was going to say, about, you mentioned Black Widow before we get on to Shang-Chi.
Yes,
it's made me crave Black Widow and Shang-Chi a bit more, because I feel like I've been watching some Marvel, but I need kind of something that might be a bit more, and we don't know obviously, but something that might have a bit more consequence and give us again a better clue of what this bigger story is going to be. And I don't think we're getting enough of that yet.
I'm going to try and queue up the Shang-Chi trailer.
I haven't seen it.
Oh well.
No.
Oh, we should have a reaction video.
Live reactions.
Where was the reaction video? No one messaged me for the reaction. You left me out the last one. This one didn't even do.
Jimmy, question for you, mate. Do I spy Beetlejuice pops behind Jimmy? Have you got any Beetlejuice pops there?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Right. Let's.
These are the wife's, actually. I bought them for her, but the wife did request them. I like the fact that her eyes are the pop eyes in the mouth rather than actual eyes.
Bear with me.
Yeah,
We're
haven't got
nearly there.
Beetlejuice or Lydia. Lydia is about 80 quid in her wedding gear.
I bought a mystery box the other day where that was the top prize, Jimmy. So if I ever do pull it, because I've got no interest in it, I'll knock it your way, mate.
What, a Lydia Dietz?
Yeah.
Very well, sell it, Seddon. I wouldn't take it from you. Sell it.
Oh no, I was going to sell it to you, mate. I wasn't going to fucking give
Oh,
it
no,
to
fuck
you. I like
I'd
you, mate, but I
expect-
ain't shipping you 80 quid's worth of pop, mate.
Well, I'm going
Welcome
to treat you
to,
how would anyone on Facebook and try and badger you down until you
Oh,
block me.
I'll do you a good deal. I'll do you mates rates.
Hello to Midge in the chat, by the way. Hello, Midge.
Midge.
Right, I've keyed up the trailer. It's for Jimmy, who's watching this in the first instance. Here we go. Hope you can hear it.
Throughout my life, the 10 rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
You're just a criminal who murders people.
Be careful how you speak to me, boy.
I thought I could change my name. Start a new life. But I could never escape his shadow.
My son, you can't run from your past.
Is this what you wanted?
You got this.
Thank you.
Ah.
I thought that was great.
Oh.
I thought
Yeah,
that
better than the last trailer.
that's exactly what I thought.
Oh
Yeah.
God! Sorry, I'm going to be the other one. I thought the other trailer was much better.
Did you?
That
The other
one, that
trailer
one
was-
actually almost. You know, I said earlier about how it makes me want Black Widow and Shang-Chi, and then I watched that trailer this week, and I thought, I don't think I want Shang-Chi.
Oh, mate.
The other trailer was more Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. This was more for an American and
This one
audience,
felt
I was gonna
very Power Rangers, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
this
I like the
looks
look
like
of
it's
it.
been made for a tenner to me.
I like this one. The trailer didn't hit as hard for me because it got spoiled that Abomination was at the end. I saw it online.
I was going to
before.
say, was that Abomination?
Yeah, it got spoiled online
Brilliant.
before I watched it, but I didn't care about that because then I saw, is that got to be Fing Fang Foom under the water, right?
Yeah, that's what I presume.
Yeah, that was my favourite part of the trailer.
Yeah, good. No,
Who's your
good.
favourite?
Yeah,
You said Fing Fang Fu?
I'm a fan. I wouldn't say my favourite, but who doesn't like a giant dragon called Fing Fang Foom or Alien as he actually is? But
when we watched the last trailer, the big thing for me was that I said there was no sort of ooh moment in it where Captain America or Thor or someone that just connects it to that world pops up. So I knew I thought that was Fing Fan Fu, but also Abomination popping up, and you seem to get to know the characters a little bit more in that. I thought that looked good. I wasn't excited as it went on.
That's what I wanted. I
think they revealed Abomination in the trailer because I still think they're going to reveal Mandarin in the film. So,
I presume so. I presume that's who we'll get as the villain, or it'll be at the end. But it was that 10 rings bit. It's where those rings went onto his arms, and I thought, oh my God, this looks like shitty, like 1990s horrifically bad effects, and it just made me really worried about it.
Then is that something from the comics? I thought the 10 rings were the 10 rings.
Yeah. And again, I don't know what they're going to do with that, but
they'll get turned into the 10 rings at the end.
Yeah.
I imagine when they see Mandarin.
Right.
Yeah.
And
but
who's
yeah,
playing Mandarin?
We don't know. It's not been revealed yet.
I hope Ben Kingsley again.
Me too.
I fucking loved him as the Mandarin. I thought he was brilliant. I loved him. I loved that.
He had
line.
cosmetic surgery, didn't he? His character had cosmetic surgery to look like the Mandarin.
Yeah, I just think that was absolutely. I mean, I know that's a vilified storyline, but I actually really like that. I thought that was really cleverly done. But yeah, I do want a Mandarin villain as well. But I'd be all for like Ben Kingsley coming back and going, fuck you. I was the Mandarin all along.
Yeah, I like that trailer as well. But I think I like it because it came in between the Eternals. The Eternals looks terrible, man. It came after that, and the last trailer was the Eternals, and that looks crap in my opinion. I just can't get behind that at all. It looks like it's going to be their first really bad film. Obviously not apart from Thor 2 and Iron Man 3, but
see, I love Thor 2.
Iron Man 3.
I like Thor 2.
I like Iron Man 3. The only thing I don't like in Thor 2 is when Thor gets on the tube and says, how do I get to Charing Cross? And you can see where he is. He's at like Moorgate, and they go, it's 2 stops that way, and you go, no, it's not.
Yeah, Thor 2 will be okay if they didn't have Taika make Thor 3 and just fucking blow everything out of the water.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Thor 2, but I like Iron Man 3. It's a bit different. Iron Man 3. It's better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think 3 is better than 2.
The film I'm most looking forward to this year is because my favourite character is Spider-Man. That's still coming out this year. I just can't wait for it.
That's around Christmas time, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
December. Yeah.
And that feels like a nice Christmas treat. Yeah, like after a few years of having to put up with substandard Star Wars movies as the Christmas movie, I'll quite happily take a Spider-Man movie this year.
It's funny you mention that because Benji was watching Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, he's going to be in the new one. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Him and Jamie Foxx will be in it.
I got to thinking that wouldn't it be kind of? I'd quite like, because at the end of that film, what's the actor's name? Andrew Garfield is he's a broken Spider-Man, isn't he? Because Gwen is dead. He he's at a low point. I'd quite like him.
He's been in such a bad film. I think that's what really.
and that, yeah. I'd quite like him to be the broken, overweight kind of Spider-Man, maybe that you saw in Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know. I'd like that. I'd quite like to see his redemption. I don't know. It's.
I certainly don't want to see him
thinking out loud
playing cocky Spider-Man because his cocky Spider-Man was just annoying. He was far too good looking and good on a skateboard to be.
We can't do this again.
No, we went there. We
can't do best Spider-Man again.
No, we went there.
But yeah,
that's the trailer we need to do the reaction to the Spider-Man.
Any more to say on Loki? I think we've covered it, haven't we?
Yeah, hopefully next week it improves and kicks into gear a little bit.
Yeah. And again, I think whichever way for some of these Marvel series, it does feel like 6 episodes is too short, man. I think 8, 9, maybe even 10 episode seasons, because they are trying to cram a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of extra content in there, and I think that's negatively impacting the ultimate plot, I think.
Also, Loki can turn himself into people. So why did he just change his costume to get onto that train? And when he was dancing in the pub, why did he go back into his shit beige old woman's outfit? Why didn't he? He's supposed to be smart. It was really it was not like Loki. He bangs on about how smart he is. None of that was smart.
And with both of them, I felt there was a lot of logic plot holes that you would have expected them to have thought much more clever to get around. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
There's a fan theory, isn't it? That it's all in Loki's head. And when she touched his head and went, "What are you doing?" And he went, "Well," she went, "Some people are harder to get into than others." There's a theory that it's all in Loki.
So this is all her trying to break into his. I mean, because we've seen that, haven't we? We've seen that with obviously they showed the plot line of her getting inside the lass's head from the TVA to get the. So yeah, possibly.
Welcome to Cloud Gaming Dad in the chat. How are you guys doing? How are you doing, mate? Nice to see you. One of the many new followers we got this week, up to 71.
Wow.
So thank you to anyone who's watching this and who has just recently followed. We do this every Friday night for our sins. Just chatting, as you know, as you can hear, about TV shows, films, video games, or whatever it may be. So I hope you like it.
Just very quickly, while we're doing some of the stuff in chat, Chris has put something in, going back to the music one, but I thought I'd wait till after Loki. He said that he's behind, but weird duets, Lou Reed and Metallica. And I imagine that probably is quite a weird duet.
Are you clicking the button there, Seddon? Because they don't show up on my screen. I do wonder if yours, when you do it, I wonder if the chats show up.
Yeah, Yeah.
Is it showing up on yours?
Yeah. So is it not showing up for you?
Not for me. That's weird, isn't it? Anyway.
I mean, I assume they're showing up on the stream. I might have a look. I'll put myself on mute. No one take me off mute and then accuse me of watching pornography again.
They show up on my screen. They show up on my screen.
Yeah, they show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because you and I are one in the same tonight, Stu. That thing we don't tell the others. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just conscious that I may have then apologies if I've double clicked on comments that you've raised, and then
There's been a few. There's been a few.
I hold my hands up for that.
Because I'm not seeing your ones.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Post is the way to go.
Because I didn't know you were putting any up. So.
Yeah, the comment parrot is out tonight.
Jimmy, I'm going to come to you now. You've been watching some Hell in a Cell, haven't you?
Yeah, I watched WWE's event this last Sunday, Hell in a Cell. Did anyone else watch it?
I haven't.
No.
I haven't even. I didn't even watch the YouTube highlights of it either.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I just wasn't bothered.
It was an odd one. For a start, Roman Reigns wasn't wrestling on it, and he's their big champ at the moment. You know, they've got him and Lashley, but he's the face. But they moved his match with Rey Mysterio to SmackDown the Friday before. I don't know why. I haven't looked into why. So the main event was Drew McIntyre again versus Bobby Lashley, and it was a bloody good. I thought it was a bloody good fight. I don't like the red Hell in the Cell they use. They use a red cell now.
Absolutely terrible, that red cell.
Toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it does match.
Plastic.
I think it does match the toy. I think that's why they did it.
No, oh, really?
Yeah.
That does sound.
But like, if you want metal, you want it to look like metal, don't you? You want them to see they're rubbing their face up against metal. At the moment, it looks like plastic. But still, I thought it was a decent match. I thought it was the best match these two guys have had. But I'm bored of seeing them fight. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte was pretty tough. That was pretty good, actually. They
strange finish though, wasn't it? Didn't it end in a DQ, but a DQ for Rhea, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like
Rhea picked up a bit of the announce table and whacked Charlotte with it. So the baby face got disqualified and walked off holding the belt and smiling and laughing. Yeah, it was odd. It was the whole of all of the. Usually WWE do good packages beforehand, don't they?
Yeah.
Before each match, and the packages were of a good level, but also you could see that there was no real reason most of these people were fighting. Apart from, well, even Lashley and Drew, there's no good reason why they're fighting again. Lashley, I think, has beaten him 2, maybe 3 times. Like it was done, and they need to rebuild. Drew. So it was a bit of a weird event. I don't even think there was any compared to the NXT in your house that was the week before.
Yeah, that I did watch. Yeah,
which was I thought brilliant.
Yeah,
really good. The opening match was an absolute banger. That tag team who are the champs at the moment,
MSK.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like them before. So good.
It's odd on that NXT because I'd say like in the pantheon of all their shows, I'd say it's in the lower end. But I think that's the thing. Yeah. Even their not so great shows, I think are really, really good. And it's one of the ones where it almost felt like a transition show. So a lot of those matches were not necessarily ones, if you watch NXT, where you're going, I really, really need to see this match because it's the payoff for a feud. It was more kind of thrown together matches. But I think that's what NXT can do. They can throw together decent matches regardless of whether even the storyline's behind it.
And even the final of the NXT in your house, the fatal 5-way, fatal 5-ways that are so hard to do because you have to have people just laying down for a long time. I think they did the people in that, the caliber of the wrestlers in that, Adam Cole, we have Kyle O'Reilly, who else was in there? The English chap, what's his name? The Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne, Karrion Kross, and
Johnny Gargano.
Like Johnny Wrestling. Johnny Takeover. Give him Johnny anything, that boy, isn't he?
Those 4 guys going for the belt are probably 4 of the best wrestlers around at the moment, aren't they? Karrion Kross, I think, did what he had to do. He didn't blow me away, but he did what he had to do in that match. But those four,
okay, you didn't have to put crossover. You just put him on main event with a standard entrance.
Yeah, well, that's what they've done.
That's what they've done. Yeah. So he shouldn't have joined WWE. I know he loves it in NXT, but it's the main roster. He's going to get called up because he's massive, and it's going to be a nightmare for him. He's going to hate it.
The talk is it's him and Bronson Reed that are going to get called up. So the NXT and the North.
But they're splitting him and Scarlett up and stripping his entrance, and he just had a standard entrance on main event. He looked like a jobber, man, on main event, not a world champion. Man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was going to say, mate, the rumor mill about the Reigns being moved to the SmackDown show rather than the Hell in the Cell was one around kind of timing, the amount of matches and the amount of Hell in the Cells, but also the other big rumor is that Fox were getting a bit pissed at the ratings and wanted a ratings boost. And so they kind of went stick that match on there. On the Hell in the Cell, as I say, I didn't watch it, didn't even watch the highlights, but I did watch one of the matches, and it was the Bayley Bianca Belair match, and I actually thought was really good, and I thought it went a long way to recovering the bad booking I think they've done with Bianca Belair since the Rumble, because I think they had a star, and I think they've got a star there, but I don't think they've booked us very well up until now. But I think this Bayley feud is starting to get Bianca to where she should be.
Yeah, that was a decent match.
I think with the crowds coming back soon, all of these guys, they've had, obviously we've been in the pandemic for so long. I think they've all got a massive gut check coming, especially people like Bianca. With her promos, mate, she'll just get booed out of the building that she's doing currently. So they've got a massive gut check to come. The thing is, people that aren't really used to the live crowds anymore, like Bianca's never been champion in front of a live crowd.
But those promos, I mean, you look at, and again, I know it's very different when they're doing it in NXT, but you look at the actual character she played in NXT, this kind of cocky, and again, probably limited on what she was having to say, but she did come across as believable. But it's since they've turned her into that generic WWE babyface that they seem to want to do, where it's all tell a few jokes, act all humble, be all nice, and then just get angry at the end. And she can't do that. I mean, she comes across really poor doing that. But I think, we've said it ad nauseum on here, is the greatest wrestling promos and the greatest people who get over the crowd is when they allow them to be themselves to a degree. And I think that's what NXT were letting her do, because I get the impression that she is a bit of a cocky fucker. So, let her be that cocky person.
Yeah.
One match we did have on it. Oh, sorry,
mate. No, I was just leading on to the live crowd stuff. Who do we think is going to tank in front of the live crowd? Obviously, the obvious ones for me are, like I said, Bianca Belair. Lashley again. He's going to go game over when there's a live crowd again.
I quite like Lashley with MVP and his hose at the moment.
But I think you're right, Mid. I don't think he'll go over big with the crowd, and I think there was a lot of thought that going into that Mania match that the crowd would be much more split. And I remember that Mania match, and they seemed a bit more indifferent to him than I think they were expecting. And Rhea Ripley, I think, is going to bomb with the crowd as well.
Yeah, she's going to bomb. I think people will get a massive boost with the crowd. But probably the most is going to be Drew. Drew's going to get a massive boost from the crowd. Roman is going to get a massive boost from the crowd. They're going to love him, man. They're not going to be able to boo the hell out of Roman now. No way. He's going to get cheered to hell.
That would be so nice watching him get what he deserves. Because he's got so much shit for so long, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think people like they're semi-pushing again, like Cesaro. I don't think they're going to be big with the crowd. I think the audience is done with the guy now after all these years. So I'm hoping a massive boost.
I'm hoping Sami Zayn does, because I think the work he's done deserves it. And I'm also hoping Bayley for the same reason. I hope she gets that big. I hope the crowd are as invested in it as I've been in the last sort of year and a half. And I hope that gives
Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens was a good match.
That was good.
It's a shame I haven't watched it yet. But
there was a haluva kick from Sami Zayn to Kevin Owens, and the camera focused right in on him slapping his knee as he did the kick. And obviously that's a thing that's banned now, isn't it, on the main roster? Like Vinnie Max put a sign up saying no slapping your knee when you do a kick. But he slapped his knee. But when they showed it from the other angle, it was like that. Like it completely took his fucking face. He didn't need to slap his knee at all. It completely took because they've wrestled together for so long. It was, they know each other, don't they? It was brutal.
It's a shame,
funny, him slapping his knee, but it banged his face off.
And I know I haven't seen this one, but it's a shame because, and I guess it's the style and the money, and I know it's very different in like the major league of WWE, and they need to be more protective. But I just don't think for all the times that they've put them together and put on matches, they've ever come anywhere near close to most of the matches that they had together in ROH, and they are just amazing to watch. And I'd love to have seen that, or seen that a WWE audience see that, because I think it would just knock their socks off. But of course, they have to be much more careful when they're at that level. They can't be giving each other brain busters onto tables and stuff like that, like they do in the indies. But sorry.
I just going to ask, did I miss in the conversation about are they bringing the crowds back? Is that what you're?
Yeah, the crowds are back soon, mate. The topic I was trying to steer was who you guys think are going to get the biggest boost, and also the biggest panning from the crowds when the crowds are back. So,
what about like the New Day? Because I felt like recently they've felt a bit stale without the audience. And their act kind of comes across a bit weird without other people actually kind of sort of chanting along and singing along. I kind of
pancakes to TV.
It feels like they need the audience again, and by extension, obviously Big E. I think like those guys are rife. And I kind of hope that the crowd shit all over Baron Corbin, just to remind them once again that just because there wasn't a crowd there, it doesn't mean people wanted to watch him on telly.
I think the Usos will get a big pop as well, because they've been doing some great work at the moment.
I think Riddle and Orton are going to get a massive pop.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that story this week about, sorry, Jimmy, that
no?
Vince has been saying that the product's so bad because he's been saving his good stuff for when the crowds come back?
There is some talk about, because I think they've got a draft not long after the crowds come back, and there is a lot of in the rumour mill that they're going to do a real kind of hard reset on WWE, and it'll almost be, let's forget about the last year. We're going from here.
Dream.
Play the draft is coming, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they got the big boys coming back in it. They got Brock coming back, Cena's coming back. There's talk about Rock wants to wrestle a match at Survivor Series.
I'm not sure on Brock. There's a lot of counter talk that Brock has said, nah, not interested. And like Brock's people are saying, no, he's got no interest. But again, you get that checkbook out, and I'm sure he can become very interested very quickly, can't he?
Yeah, and for everyone shitting all over him, the guy's great. I want him back ASAP. He's amazing.
Out of all of them, that's the only one I actually want back, because I think he's the one that Brock. I think he's the one that can go in the ring. I think he's an amazing athlete still, and I think you can craft good stories, and I think you can make stars off the back of him.
Yeah, look at Drew now. He's Brock. That's all down to Brock.
Yeah. And then the rest of them, I'm not really interested in. Like, we've seen it all before, and again, it goes against that making new stars thing that I think that they've not done for many years. But I think Brock is still in a position to help them do that.
Yeah, I mean, like Drew on Raw now. Obviously, Brock put him over. I mean, even you can argue the biggest star they got now, Roman. Brock did loads for him.
Yeah.
Cena's coming back as well soon, isn't he? He's coming back for something.
Do we want to see Cena back?
I mean, I don't know what opponents he would maybe go for. I'm not sure.
I'd happily watch Cena against someone.
I'd like to watch Cena Reigns again after Cena embarrassed him many years ago on that promo. To see Roman's level now, I don't think Roman will get himself into that situation again.
Do you reckon there's anyone like outside of Roman and probably Drew? Do you reckon there's any programs that they'd even put him in? Because I think they're the only two people that would be worth putting him in. Because I don't think there's anyone else that is even close to needing Cena like elevation. And I think you're right, Mid. I think him against Roman now, like promo wise and actually building it slightly different, would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, and Cena's even the interview that Cena one interview he gave before he was saying he was coming back was really interesting, saying he loves the fact that they've let Roman be a heel, and he alluded to the fact that maybe now they've seen that be successful, they might be more open to me being a heel.
He's got very heelish haircuts these days. I think there's no way to not turn him heel.
Yeah, he's got a Bradshaw haircut now.
Yeah.
The big thing for Cena is the taking away Flair's record of how many championship
Do we honestly think that will happen now? I think if he'd have stayed around for about 1 or 2 more years of being solid, but I think I think he's gone into Rock level of appearances now, hasn't he?
No, I think it's a good idea. Like, I love Flair, but people younger than me, maybe people under 20, don't give a shit about Flair, do they? Really?
No.
Maybe even under 25. So you need someone to take that. You do need someone to take that mantle, and I think it's only Randy, Triple H, or Cena that are close. Cena's like two titles off, isn't he? Or one.
But you don't.
Cena's one off. I think, like I said ages ago on the podcast, and I still think they're going to do it. Is Randy needs a couple more, so I think they'll get Randy up to the couple more to equal Cena, and then they'll have a WrestleMania match between them to see who's going to break it. Randy and Cena.
With Flair as ref or whatever. You know?
And I'd much rather it be Randy because he stayed around. Like. And I'm not going into like the whole part time, but again, Cena doesn't need it anymore. He's moved on, and Flair earned that over many decades, and I don't think it needs breaking now. I'm with you. I don't think there's many people outside of that, but keep it as a goal. Keep it as you start building someone in the next couple of years and start giving him title reigns and make it something like the Undertaker streak. Make it something that is. Always something to aim for, but never actually kind of achieved. And I think there probably is something in having someone like Cena get close and not get over the line. Because I think it then even makes it more important for the next big thing to get these title.
Cena's there, isn't he? Cena's equaled it. Cena's the same. Exactly the same. Randy needs a couple more, and then he's going to be the same. So I think they'll do that at WrestleMania. I think that'll probably be Cena's last match as well. Cena versus Randy, because obviously they've got a lot of history as well. And like you say, if it's Cena's last match, then Randy will probably win and break the record. There's not really anyone more deserving to break the record than Randy Orton, really.
Yeah. Good point. Randy Orton. I mean, I'd if someone is to break it, you'd want it to be someone who then sticks around for a bit, you know.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Orton's never gone. But, I mean, because you know he's a born natural professional wrestler. He's never going to be as good at acting as the other guys. He's got no chance. Even if he did go, he wouldn't be as good as actor as the Batista, Rock, or Cena. So
he was too busy shitting in handbags when they were there.
Missed his acting lessons. Yeah. Anything else to add on Hell in a Cell or wrestling in general, boys?
Yeah, we're not talked about Edge coming back. Apparently, Edge, when he comes back, his opponent. It makes sense, really. They've not done it sooner, but it's going to be Seth Rollins and Edge going into a feud, obviously leading back to all that when Seth had the chair over his head and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Be nice to watch Seth injure him and send him off as well.
Yeah.
They could have a
to retire Edge.
Instead of for the eye, they can have the head for the head match, and someone has to be decapitated at the end of it, or some sort of stip like that. I'm sure they can pull that off.
And obviously Becky is coming back soon as well. So
that's one that really does interest me, because again, I think that women's division needs a bit of a kick up the arse. They've got some really good people in it, but I think it needs that headliner star, and they're never really going to, and I don't think they necessarily should, but they're not going to move away from Charlotte Flair. But I think when Becky's there, I think that counterbalances the Charlotte Flair pushes. So yeah, get Becky back quickly.
Right, let's move on.
I was going to say very quickly before we do move on, though, is I think there's probably something quite telling there, though, that only one of us watched it, and I think that's where it started to get to for me in WWE now, is that I'm week on week, I'm finding it even hard to watch the YouTube highlights now.
I was not in a rush. I was not in a rush to watch it.
You know, when you hear Midge say he doesn't watch NXT anymore, then it's game over. It's the end of the line, man.
Yeah,
game over. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, I'll keep running with this alternating. Mid, have you been anything you've been watching that you want to raise at this point?
Yeah, I've been watching. As everyone knows, I've been tweeting about it. But yeah, Demon Slayer, the very popular anime. Season 1's on Netflix at the moment. Won't go into many details about the story because Seddon's still watching it, I think.
Yeah, but although to be honest, mate, I honestly don't mind if there's sort of like any spoilerish things that you want to go into, go for it, because I'm enjoying it so much. I don't think there could be. I don't think a spoiler would stop me from carrying on.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but the very end of season 1 leads directly into the film. So I've watched the film as well as a film out at the cinema, Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I've watched that as well. They're just fantastic things. I watch quite a lot of anime anyway, but this one is just, I don't know. I don't know the way you describe it, Seddon. There's just something about it. It's just not tropey, I would say.
Yeah.
Not like in every other anime, like a copy and paste. It's got its own little vibe and style. It's
kind of grabbing like all those best of the anime tropes and sort of taking loads of bits from different sort of cinema genres, and it just meshes it together really well. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you felt, but one of the things that really did strike out to me, which is a breaking point for me on a lot of animes when I start watching them, is you knew straight away this wasn't all about like the kind of that weird, my worst trope in it of you're not going to get loads of knicker shots and bra shots of the girls. That's not its purpose. Like, it's a story and it's got a story to tell, and it's interested in getting you through this story rather than just being, I don't know, titillation for Japanese businessmen. Like,
yeah, I think that's what that's probably what grabbed me the most from the start and kept me watching. Is they put a lot of effort into explaining and making you care about the main character Tanjiro, with his obviously sister Nezuko being turned into a demon. And they put a lot of backstory and all that kind of stuff behind it, so you really care about the main characters. And then, like any anime, he picks up his group of friends along the way. I don't know how far you've got. I don't know if you've met Hashibera.
Yes, I think 2 episodes beyond meeting him, I've got to, and yeah, loved him.
Yeah, so there's another character that meet shortly after him. I think it's after him anyway. Zenitsu, is it? He's my favorite character. I don't know if you've met him yet, Seddon.
No, not yet.
He's got like orange clothes. The premise of his character is like he's a demon. He's a demon hunter, and he's been trained and everything, but he's shit scared of everything. He gets terrified until someone threatens Nezuko, and then he turns into the most powerful character in the program.
Well, weird enough, I only know he exists because I was getting my pre-orders in for all the Funko Pops when they come out, and he was one of them. So he's amazing. Along,
he just sits there cowering and crying in the corner and stuff. But then as soon as someone threatens some of the characters that he likes, he just turns into an absolute beast, mate. Starts chanting all these forms and fucking slaying demons left, right, and center and everything. It's great.
It's a video game coming out, apparently.
Yeah, and the video game looks based on the actual series of the storyline. You just play the bits of the series from the trailer that I've seen. So yeah.
What's this on? What channel?
Netflix.
Netflix, yeah. It's called Demon Slayer. And
I presume we're going to get season 2 on Netflix as well.
I think, I've not looked, so I don't want to spoil it, but I imagine season 2's already been on in Japan. And
I don't know, because I know that this was one that Midge was quite big into, and I can't remember him saying that he's seen season 2 yet. But yeah, possibly it might be on now. But
yeah, I know we got the film last. I know there's loads of pissed off people this week because the film's out for streaming now, but only in like Mexico, USA, Australia. They didn't put it out in the UK. I really hate it when they do that. It's like a digital world now. I just forget the copyright crap and just release it everywhere all at once. I don't understand it. But
well, and the film has done really well, hasn't it? Like box office wise, it's kind of broken records for kind of anime outside of Japan, but also at a certain point, I think it's that in some countries it's the highest grossing movie released this year so far, isn't it? And I know that's kind of a strange market at the moment, but it's really good to see. Yeah,
anime wise, it's the most successful anime outside of Japan behind Pokemon now. It's like third behind 2 Pokemon films, like box office for the film.
I mean, I started like recently. I've started on a bit of a kick of watching some more again, because Netflix has quite a lot on there at the moment, and I know there's Crunchyroll and Funimation, all these services you can do it, but because I'm on Netflix quite a lot, and generally I think in bygone years I was more into like the movies rather than sort of anime series, and this is the 4th one I've watched recently, and the quality between this and the others, and I've enjoyed some of the others, but the quality for this, it's just different gravy. I think it's, as I said earlier, really smartly written, and I love the fact that it has kind of a lot of tip of the hat to old martial arts movies, but also kind of your classic adventure, as you say, they pick up their gang along the way and they're going to something to try and do something, but also got like a lot of kind of stuff from westerns and things like that in there as well. And the characters are they still are anime characters, but they're more fleshed out than I think you'll see in a lot of animes. It's not all about their eyes going Berg, and then and as I say, panty shots and bra shots. Like there is a lot more substance to it.
I think the thing that gets overlooked as well is the dub. The dub's really good.
Yeah.
The English dub is really good, and the thing that I like about the end of the first series, not spoiling it again, but literally the end of the first series, they're getting on the train. They're getting on the train that's in the film, so it leads literally directly in. So it's not like it ends and then the film picks up somewhere after. It's like start and finish. Start at the end of the series, the film starts. It's great how they've done it.
I mean, I want to power through hopefully because is it 25 or 26 episodes?
26, I think it is. Yeah. They're only 25 minutes long, aren't they?
Yeah. But they've got another show that I saw the first episode of. Netflix are adding My Hero Academia in a couple of weeks, and the first episode. Yeah, first episode was really good and really interesting, and I think it might well live in that kind of world of me going, here's another one that I really like. So, I want to get Demon Slayer watched by that, and of course, I want to get it watched because I want to watch this movie as well. But yeah, I'll be cracking on to the rest of that.
My mate the other day said I should watch 7 Deadly Sins, but I've never seen it. I don't know if it's good.
It's on there. I mean, it's not one I've watched. I've seen that it's on Netflix, but yeah, not one I've got round to yet.
Yes, I might crack onto that next.
Nice, a real anime fix for you at the moment. I should watch more of that, or some of it. I've never seen any of it, really.
We spoke about in the other episodes, Netflix are doing their own animes, and the majority of them are good.
And one of the things I like about them is you can, as we say, they're generally short episodes. So normally you can crack through 2 or 3 episodes in an hour, and by that time you've probably got a really good idea of whether it's something you're interested in or not, and then you can just kind of bin it if you're not. So, and again, there's a wide choice, lots of different sort of genres out there on Netflix at the moment. If you got that, and as I say, beyond that, there's Crunchyroll, which is a free service, but it's got ads, and Funimation, which you can pay for. That has I think for most of the series they show on Funimation, I think it is almost simultaneously released in Japan and over here. But yeah, I mean, take the freebies that are out there and just have a try of a few of them and see what you do. Yeah. The one I'd recommend against, which is the one I watched before starting Demon Slayer, was High Rise Invasion. That a cracking idea, but all of the bad anime tropes that I hate were in that one, and the fact that one character splits her shirt open in the first episode and then goes the whole 10 just showing her bra for no real reason,
which one's this? Which one? I'm up.
Yeah. But
animated shows are hard. Do they get the sort of, in this country, do they get the sort of numbers that there's the strawberries? My wife wondered where they had gone. Do they get the sort of numbers that?
Can I just check? When you said there's a strawberries and pointed, was it that fox? And he fucked off into your garden with your punnet of strawberries?
He's sitting there with his big tail and his.
Go and get your spear, Jimmy. Take him out.
Animated shows, do they get the same sort of figures as live action stuff? Like, because I watched Invincible recently, which I don't think we've still discussed yet.
I'll tell you what. We'll do that next week, shall we? We'll do a bit of Invincible chat.
I watched all that as well. It's great.
Yeah,
one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. But it took me ages to watch it, and only because it was animated. There wasn't the connection of seeing yourself or a person who you're relating to in a show, or an actor that even that can bring you in. I think can be trickier for an animated show than a live action.
Japanese and American audiences do seem to be more likely to watch animated than I think a British audience. So I think you're onto something there, Jimmy. I think there is a bit of a kind of a disconnect or something. We're used to seeing dour settings like in the back shitty pubs of Coronation Street and stuff like that. So we don't want a necessarily a nice shiny animated world all the time, do we?
Yeah, I think Demon Slayer is translated through all regions. Obviously, massively popular in Japan. I think over there it's the film is literally the highest grossing film in Japan of all time. It beat Spirited Away. Spirited Away was number 1, and it's recently beat it. So yeah, but that has translated to success across the world. I mean, it's box office smash everywhere, and I think Netflix were quite clever in picking it up, because I think it's been a it's been a hit for them.
Is it nice like Spirited Away? Because is Spirited Away a Ghibli film?
Yeah.
It's not like Spirited Away, no.
I mean, I've been watching a lot of the Ghibli stuff. My wife has got my boy into them, and I'm watching them, and they are beautiful to watch.
Yeah,
and very relaxing.
And I guess we can do something Ghibli at some point, because I'm with you. Maybe we'll pick a couple of Ghibli movies and do a watch through it and do it. But I'm with you. Like, I know they talk about it as being the Japanese Disney, but I love their stuff much more than I do the generic Disney stuff. I just think they've got such a nice storytelling vibe. They get the visuals so right, and that pulls you into these magical worlds. And yeah, as I say, I think you're right. I think there is something in, like, my mother, not a good example for most things, but my mum, like, if I say to her something's animated, she'll just go, "Oh, I want to watch cartoons for kids, isn't it?" And I think there is that thing of, I think there is a bit of a, and again, that's one of the nicer things she'll say. But I think there is something in that sometimes people don't jump to animated, or they almost feel maybe embarrassed or not wanting to make that leap, because they go, it's a cartoon. But actually, you know, the stories are as good, potentially, or the writing's is good, and it doesn't really matter whether it's animated or not to me. But there is a lot of shit out there as well. I mean,
they brought out a new He-Man. They brought out a new He-Man trailer. Did anyone see the new He-Man trailer?
That does look cool.
It does. Yeah.
I'm quite looking forward to it.
Me and a good couple of my friends were like, "Yes, this looks incredible," and then a good couple of my friends were like, "It's a cartoon."
Yeah.
And they've made that a bit more anime style for He-Man, so yeah, it looks good.
You said about the cartoon thing, you know, like we were talking the other week about. I mean, we talk about here about Marvel, and people watch the Marvel movies in their millions and millions and millions. 20,000 people buy the comic, and I think if you ask most people, if you said read this comic, they go, "No, it's a comic, it's for kids." And you go, "Watch this movie," which is the story that was in that comic, and they go, "Oh, yeah, it's a movie. I'm there." But yeah, people will consume the media how they want to, won't they?
Yeah, it's the same. We're not talking about, but it's the same as games. Like, most people play FIFA and all that. You ask them to play a masterpiece of design like Mario. Yeah, cartoon, mate. I'm not playing that. It's exactly the same across every medium. Unfortunately, it's just. I was going to
say on that video game thing as well. I don't know whether you guys have had this. Like, certainly again, going back when we were more in the office, and there'd be times where, I don't know, people would say to me, "Oh, what did you do last night?" And I say, "Oh, you know, played a couple of hours on the PlayStation." And I'll get people sort of going, "Well, how old are you?" And I'll go, "Well," I'll lie. I'll take about 10 years off, but but then they'll sort of go, "Well, you know, like, but grown-ups don't play video games." And I said, "Well, I do, and technically I'm a grown-up." And I go, "Well, what did you do in the evening?" And they've got fuck all. They've done nothing. And I go, "Well, so you just sat there doing nothing? At least I did something."
Watched Coronation Street, went on Facebook, looked at TikTok for a while, noticed it got late, had a cup of tea, had a wank, went to bed.
I know we've spoke wrestling, but I just want to announce some breaking news on the podcast that
someone's dead.
Davari, Tony Ness, Ever Rise, and Fandango have been released.
Fandango.
Do you know what?
Are we the first to announce this?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a bit of a shame. That I quite like some of them, and of course, you know, they've got their place. They were never going to be main eventers, but Tony Nese, I quite liked it, and I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Fandango. Ever since he turned up at Goodison Park and did his tune.
He can wrestle Jericho again now. He can go and wrestle Jericho again and get over.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. So who's gone? Fandango, Tony Nese,
Fandango, Tony Nese, Davari, and Everrise.
Who's Davari?
He's a 205 Live who's mainly on.
He's the only one I know,
and he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, very good. Again,
Tony Nese is 205 Live, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, I think they're the sort of people though that, you know, they'll get work elsewhere, won't they? You know, like a lot of these other companies will go, "Yeah, come on in." They won't necessarily make big bucks initially, but I think, you know, there's plenty of work out there for people that are as talented as them.
Yeah, Everrise maybe not, because AEW have got so many tag teams. It's unreal. They probably don't stand a chance, to be honest.
No.
Fandango, I always thought looked great. Like he like good-looking guy in great shape. You know, I like a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Like he could have been a superstar. Like what happened with him, man? And as I say, what you just mentioned there was his first WrestleMania was against Jericho.
Yeah,
and he beat Jericho.
Jericho wasn't very happy about that.
No, he's furious, wasn't he?
He's been quite vocal about that.
But he's a pro. He does what he's told. But Fandango he came on with fucking. Did he have a rose in his mouth dancing? And
Summer Rae, yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, he's
like-
dancing with
And-
somebody. I think
Danny-
now Fandango's gone. I don't know if Tyler Breeze
Well,
may
that's what I was going to say.
finally be released from his pain.
Because that's the thing. Because I love Tyler Breeze and I love the NXT Tyler Breeze, and I'd love to. But I more went the other way and went, "Oh shit! Now that they've got rid of him, will they release Tyler Breeze?" And I'd hate.
Tyler Breeze has been praying for years to be released.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now
Sweet release.
What's he doing at the moment?
he's in a tag team with Fandango.
He's
Oh,
doing up. He's
is
doing
he?
up,
Christ, I
up,
haven't
down,
seen
down every Wednesday. That's about
Yeah.
the only time I see him.
I've seen him enjoy himself sort of teaching other people at NXT. I've seen him on shows, backstage, giving people advice. But
You're never going to get a better video than that main roster call up that he had. That video where he's like with all the NXT talent getting called up. It's the best thing I've ever seen. It's just hilarious.
Yes.
I guess though, like with news of some releases, like as we've seen, like
More to come.
there might be more even coming in the next sort of
space.
5-10 minutes. Even that's that
have we all seen Braun since he shaved his beard off?
No.
Yeah,
I forgot he existed. To be honest,
Yeah, I know. Who gives a shit? But he shaved his beard off, and he's not allowed to use his name for signatures, is he?
No.
If he signs anything,
With
but
an X.
he's looking good still.
is he just taking the U out and Bran Strowman or Brun Strowman or something like that? Yeah.
Who shall I move on to now?
You.
Seddon.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was just looking at Twitter to see whether there was any more releases. Sorry,
I'm interested to hear about Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah. I was just going to pick up on this quickly because I know it's something that we've done on the show before. I know you'd watched it, hadn't you, Stu? And I didn't know whether anyone else had watched it yet. What is it? Seven?
Idris Elba.
No, Kate Winslet. And
what's the other one? It's something town, that Idris Elba one, where he's on the horse. What's that one?
I don't know.
There's one where he's like on a horse.
Uh,
It's on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called.
No, I don't. Hang on a minute. I've got Google here. Why are we sitting like trying to use our brains when they invented Google?
Mid's had a stroke, I think.
Many strokes. Don't worry.
Mayor of Easttown. This is the thing that you spoke. Is this the thing you spoke about the other day, Stu? Where you said
It was. I mean, I loved it. But
Concrete
Cowboy. That's the
Concrete
one.
Cowboy. Yeah.
Concrete Cowboy. I think Seddon has a bit of a counterpoint.
Well, I mean, like, I think it's been very popular with like the listeners of the show as well, hasn't it? I think quite a few people have kind of picked up and watched it, and I guess I went into it, and maybe this is part of the problem. I think I went into it with maybe too high expectations, possibly.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess I was expecting kind of some transcendent experience of TV and like Oscar-worthy performances. And
Well, you know me. I do over egg things.
Not just from you, Stu. I mean, I'd read some of the reviews as well, and the reviews have been glowing. Like, kind of like the review aggregators, just like the numbers are through the roof on it. But I watched it, and I almost didn't want to talk about it, possibly because I have some real negatives towards it, but ultimately I don't want it to come across as too negative. But at the end of it, I just went, yeah, it's an average crime show. No more, no less than an average crime show for me. And certainly watching through it, it really sort of, there was some vibes I got from it, and it had a lot of vibes of, and I think you'd said this, Stu, and I think you're spot on. There's a lot of Broadchurch about it.
I was going to ask that if you thought that.
Yeah, and I felt like it was a mixture of True Detective season 1 in there, like just with the setting and kind of the way it was filmed, and quite a bit of that 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, the movie from a few years ago, and I think I could see that DNA in there, but it just didn't ever get close to being as good as any of them. It felt like a weaker version of all of them. One of the things I really will give it plaudits for is the supporting cast. There were so many actors that I'd seen in other things, but maybe had never been a main player, and lots of people I'd never seen before. And I think their casting for their supporting cast was phenomenal. And if anything, probably my biggest criticism of the show is, fuck me, why did they spend so much time on Winslet? Because they had such an interesting group of people around it, and I felt that often they didn't get the screen time because they become somewhat obsessed. And I know the show is named after her and she is the main character, but that's the one thing where I really did have a disconnect with any review I read, is people saying that this was a defining role for her. She was okay, and nothing better than okay for me. Like she read the script and she played someone who was a bit grumpy and dour. Yeah, she did that, but I don't see why people are just going so crazy about her performance. And in fact, if anything, her performance were the parts where I was least interested in it, other than, and again, this was the other big shame for me, other than when Guy Pearce was on the TV, and he was awful in it, I thought, and Evan Peters, who was even worse. So they're three main actors I thought just shit the bed for me in this TV show, like really badly. But maybe that's because I found the rest of the characters so interesting, and maybe they were just chewing up screen time, like.
That's three excellent actors you've just thrown under.
Oh God, and with Guy Pearce and Evan Peters, I've liked most of the stuff I've ever seen them do, and so it was a surprise to me. I mean, I didn't understand why the Guy Pearce character was in it at all. I felt it added nothing.
I would agree with that. He does kind of seem to float in and out of the narrative just when he likes, to the point where I thought he was, going to end up being the.
I'm with you, mate. The way they did it, I thought they must be layering up to be involved in this in some way.
He just kind of went to nothing.
Served no purpose if it wasn't that, and unfortunately, I found out that he served no purpose and then just fucked off. But yeah, I mean, but as I say, it was average. Now, I'd say that I felt it got worse as the series went on. I think it started stronger than it ended. I will say, the last episode felt like when I was watching the last Lord of the Rings movie, and I was going, fucking hell, just end this, because you've done your story and still you're still going. There's nothing else to say. You've said it. You've just got a bit carried away with yourselves now and thought, let's put another fucking half an hour on this one because we're making something great, aren't we? And I just felt like there wasn't enough sort of substance towards the end. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised by how much praise it's getting, because, as I say, for me, it borrows from so many other stories and doesn't do it as good as a lot of other stories, or better. But it is a fine watch. It's a decent TV show. I kind of hope there's not a season 2. I read something from the creator. I think it was earlier this week, where he said a bit of an arrogant prick, but I stood by it, where he went, we won't just come back and make a season 2. We have to have the right story. I know it's become popular, and I'm not just going to make a season 2 because it's popular. So I quite like the idea that he would sort of go, no, you won't force me to do it. But then also I did think, yeah, you're right, Jimmy, the money probably will sway. But I did also think that's almost like someone going, no, my show was so great, and unless I make one as great as this great thing that I just made, because aren't I great? Then and I did think that, don't get carried away, mate. You made an average show where you borrowed from loads of other people.
Well, that seems like your review of Joker as well, there, because that isn't it? You thought they borrowed Joker from loads of people, and they're doing a sequel to Joker when they said they wouldn't do one. But
Joker was brilliant. Yeah. That's your difference there. I think the man can pat himself on the back for Joker. And again, I don't think they should make a Joker sequel either. But
Stu, speaking of DC, and speaking of Idris Elba, we had a Marvel trailer reaction. Can we get the new Suicide Squad trailer and we watch that together?
Yeah.
I've not actually seen it. I've
heard,
no.
I actually
night of firsts.
I've heard all the kerfuffle about Superman getting shot by Idris Elba, and then he pulled the actual comic book out and shut everyone up. But I've not actually seen the trailer.
Right, let me cue this up for you.
Mid, can we see your face as you watch it, or are you?
While you're queuing it up on the wrestling front, Chris has put up about going back to the Fandango. What the odds that Jericho pulls a Hogan and gets Fandango signed just to get that win back?
Was that with the Warrior?
Yeah. Good old times.
Okay, this is the one. Oh. Okay, right. Let's share this bad boy.
I didn't watch on purpose, and I don't think they've still announced if it is a reboot or what, if it's the same people or what?
It's a sequel, man. It is a sequel.
Well, they said it's part of the DCEU, didn't they?
Way to bury your film before it starts.
Yeah, I know, right?
You got the same actors playing the same characters. So what else is it?
Don't call it the Suicide Squad then.
A reimagining.
That's just going to confuse people. Right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Robert Dubois. He's in
Is this the
prison
right
for
one?
putting Superman in the
This is the right one, is
ICU
it?
with a kryptonite bomb.
Yeah, it's the right one.
Joining your Suicide Squad.
We'll see.
My court date is coming up. And Miss Waller said maybe you could help me out.
You're flexing in my door!
Everyone stand down.
Miss Waller, I don't...
Stand down!
I wouldn't take such extreme measures if this mission went more important than you could possibly imagine. Are you in or out? Good. Let's meet your team.
You can answer.
Each member is chosen for his or her own completely unique set of abilities.
I need to feel the raindrops on my head. Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Had to go number 2.
Good to know.
Is this thing a dog?
A dog? What kind of dog do you think it is, mate?
I'm gonna go with Afghan Hound.
Oh my god, is it a werewolf?
Yo, they sent me next to a werewolf! Yo, let me out!
Hey, he's not a werewolf, okay? He's a weasel.
He's harmless. I mean, he's not harmless. He's killed 27 children, but, you know.
Your mission is to destroy every trace of something known only as Project Starfish. Any questions?
Starfish is a slang term for a butthole. Think there's any connection?
No.
No. All right. Let's get it. This is suicide. Well, that's kind of our thing.
I'm a superhero!
Where's my dad?
I want to get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
Ratatouille, what do you got?
Bird.
Now it. Stay off the comm.
Yeah, some of the humor in that doesn't hit with me.
That scene, the gag, like that's fucking terrible, man. Like that made me not want to watch that movie. Full stop. And it's a shame because a lot of the other trailer, the rest of the trailer, I thought was alright.
I enjoyed that more this time round, and I think that's because I've drunk nearly a bottle of Prosecco. I thought that looked fucking great, to be honest. That's the second time I saw it. I was like, yeah, I'm down with that. Mid, your first.
Yeah, looks good. It's easily going to be the best DC film. There's not much competition, but yeah, obviously Joker, but I think it's going to be better than Joker.
The thing is, I think it's great though, isn't it, that their selling point in their trailer is for the guy who made a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I love the fact that James Gunn, that was the ultimate thing for him to do, wasn't it? They obviously let him go unjustly, and then he was just like, "Oh, I'll go to DC then," and then Marvel was like, "Oh, hold on a minute, we'll have you back." After that, but obviously you can make that film first. So yeah, I think it ultimately it was horrible as it was what happened to him. It worked out for the best, really. He gets to make Guardians 3 and he got to make a DC film. So what more can you want?
Do you know, there's a bit of me that says only I love the Guardians and I love Marvel. There's a bit of me that almost wants James Gunn to make Guardians 3 into an absolute piece of shit. Just as a double fuck you, puts all his efforts into making a great Suicide Squad for a movie, and then just literally shits out a script for Guardians 3.
Do you know, the first trailer for Suicide Squad, I wasn't impressed with, and I thought Idris looked boring. It just looked like a bit of a rehash from the first one, really, just with some bigger spectacle. But this one, I think this trailer, I saw a bit more from Idris Elba there, like let him do some actual acting, because he is a bloody good actor, Idris Elba, when he is doing something good.
On that trailer, he looked like the main soul of the film.
Yeah,
was him. The film's going to be based around his character by the looks of things.
Yeah, but that was the attempt with the last one with Will Smith, but they fucked it up, didn't they? Whereas
And Will Smith is played out by this point, and let's be honest, we've seen him in so much stuff that I think it's really hard to make him the central point for one of those movies. Whereas, I mean, Idris Elba's massively charismatic, and my God, he'll do anything for a fiver, wouldn't he? Because some of the movies and films he's been terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
But when he's good, he's brilliant, isn't he? He's really captivating on the screen. I think when he's got a good director and a good script, and yeah, I think this could be a cracking role for him if he really, if the script is good and if he really embraces it. The only thing I was going to say is, anyone else just fucking sick of Margot Robbie as Harlequin now?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks just like a rehash of the same. That they've reached a point where they can't really do much more with the character. I think.
Yeah.
Like even the jokes are shit. Like you said, when I just gone and done a number 2 or whatever. Just not good, man.
And I noticed they had the obligatory Harley Quinn walking along while there's water splashing down. And you just go, oh, fucking hell! Like we've seen that in every movie that they've been in. Just get a new trick. Although I imagine with James Gunn, when that plays out, I imagine it will be done in a mocking fashion for some of the worst parts of Birds of Prey, where they just randomly put for no reason sprinklers on. That was
so bad.
Terrible, man. Terrible.
That was such a bad movie.
Every time someone mentions Idris Elba, I always want to go back and watch The Wire because that's the first thing that I've seen him in. And honestly to God, I didn't know who he was. I thought he was American.
Do you know what?
I thought he was American.
I watched a few episodes again recently because I'm planning on doing a full run through, and he's just amazing in that. And you know, to probably for his first big role he's noticed. I mean, I don't think he's ever reached those peaks again. But I'm with you. You do not hearing him speaking in the real world. You would think, no way, that's not a dude from The Wire. But
Stringer Bell,
fucking phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Stringer Bell, that's his name, isn't it? In The Wire, yeah. He's in The American Office as well, and again,
he is, yeah.
Idris Elba, he's in The American Office, and he's in the season.
I was gonna say he's in the non-Michael Scott season,
Michael's there.
Oh, right.
No, Michael's still there, but Michael leaves the office because of Idris, because he's taking over, and he's the new regional he's the manager of all the regional managers. So he leaves and starts his own paper company, and when he comes back, his only one of his requests is they have to fire Idris Elba because he's come from steel. He hasn't come from paper. He doesn't know paper. But even in that, when Idris is playing American, he comes across as so classy and so sexy. And when he's English, he's always like, wait, motherfucker.
Yeah, when you see him doing all he does a lot of DJing and all that. He looks like some granddad on the decks or something. He's he's got a beanie hat on, but he's got a grey beard and he looks really old.
He's a much smoother American than he is a Brit, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know, like Luther. No, he's pretty fucking smooth in Luther as a Brit.
Is he?
I mean, I love that.
Like Luther.
I love that.
Yeah, but towards the end, obviously there was that thing with him and Alice. Even him, towards the end, was like I'm just saying, really old, and Alice was still quite young. So you think this is a bit fucking weird. He's way older than her.
Yeah, but that's
how
a
your
good
Tinder dates go. To be honest, mate.
I hope that on some of your Tinder dates, though, you meet people who aren't sociopathic serial killers.
I don't think it goes that well if I use Idris Elba as my profile picture and then actually met him. I don't know what.
Looking for my Alice, and all of a sudden you get a load of serial killers turn up at your door.
Some white guy with long hair just turned up. They're expecting Idris Elba.
That's a good cast though they've got there, isn't it? That is a bloody good. Peter Capaldi, who's he's great, right? Everyone agrees. Peter Capaldi's great.
Big fan.
Margot Robbie is a great actress. She's really good.
I just want her to do something else now. I want her to stop being Harley Quinn, or at least have a couple of movies where she's not in it. Maybe.
You've got Nathan Fillion in it, who's brilliant. You've got Michael. Is it Michael Rooker, who was in Guardians?
Yeah.
Even Pete Davidson looks quite good in that, and I hate Pete Davidson as a person, but
we agree, Jimmy. He's a twat, isn't he?
Oh, he's awful, horrible man. You know, just a druggy scumbag who lives in his mum's basement, who married Ariana Grande. Did they marry, or they were dating for a long time?
I think she's married to someone else now. Is it?
She was with him though. Just bizarre. One of when you're at school and the skanky kid who's older gets with like a young, attractive girl, and you go, "What the fuck? Why has this happened?" But
because he had a car. That's what it was when you were at school.
yeah, he's got a car. He's got a tattoo. He smokes. He smokes, and he he'll beat someone up. But then you've got a guy who was in the Ant-Man movie playing the polka dot man. He's a good actor as well. What's his name? Can't remember. It's full of good people. No, the polka dot. He's playing polka dot. Is he playing polka dot man?
Man in Ant-Man.
He's in Ant-Man. He's playing polka dot man.
I don't know his name.
All right, you got Sylvester Stallone. You got seven. That's hard.
And P.S. Ant-Man's actually on the telly right now because we saw it advertised earlier, and she went, "Well, I'm not watching that." And I said, "Well, give it a go for the 17th time. You might remember what fucking happens this time."
Well, tell her if she's at the credits. Ask her what's the man's name who plays his mate.
I'm looking it up for you now, Jimmy. I've got you covered.
You got Sly Stallone playing Big Shark. What's his name? Captain Shark, Man Shark, Jaws, King Shark.
I think I think a lot of it looks like Warner Brothers and DC or whatever were just like, we want Margot Robbie, but then the rest was just like James Gunn picked whoever he wanted.
That's what it looks like.
Jimmy, the man you're thinking of, he plays Polka Dot Man. His first name is David. There's a reason why you can't remember his surname, and I think it's because it's unpronounceable.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's funny though, when they did the cast reveal and it was just the cast talking on that DC fandom or whatever it was, he was the funniest one out of the lot of them.
He's a funny guy. Yeah. That's
apparently
I haven't seen it.
Apparently, Taika Waititi's in it somewhere as well.
Yes, he's in it. I haven't seen a bad James Gunn movie. I don't think.
Have I seen any James Gunn movies that aren't Guardians?
Have you seen Slither? Slither's good. Or
Slither. Yes, Slither was good.
I didn't realise that was him. Yeah, I didn't realise that was him.
No, I like.
Yeah, he did Super. I think I've seen that.
Oh, I like that.
I don't
with Rainn Wilson.
I was a big fan of that. That was
brilliant film.
I've not seen Brightburn yet either.
Yeah, he's producer, I think, on Brightburn. I think it's written by his brother and directed by another brother.
He had some involvement in Scooby Doo 2002, according to this.
Yes, he wrote that. He wrote Scooby Doo 2
and 2 and 1. Oh god,
which are they're good fun films. I've watched them recently with one of the boys. They're actually better than I thought they'd be. And also the girl who plays Thelma. Oh jeez, like as a kid, Daphne was the one, or Fred. However your bread's buttered.
Or Scooby.
Now,
however your bread's buttered.
Or Scrappy.
You're buttering the crusts. You're buttering the crusts at that point. But Thelma in those films. But no, they're good films. They're good fun films. They know exactly what they are.
He was one of the directors on movie 43 of one of the small bits of that.
That's a film that doesn't exist, isn't it?
He also plays Hawkeye's wife in the MCU.
Yeah, she does.
Thelma.
Yes.
Thelma.
Yeah,
you're following her career, Stu.
Closely.
Yeah.
And in good news is he's going to be writing a new Starsky and Hutch TV show. I fucking love Starsky.
No way. Yeah. I like the film with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. That was a good laugh.
Well, yeah, you're wrong there, but it's a fucking abomination, is what it was.
For my age group at that time, it was a good laugh. It was when Wedding Crashers came out and all of that sort of stuff, and we could just laugh along with it. Now, if I went back, you'd go, "That's not as good as you thought."
I'm conscious of the time. Have I missed anyone out or anything that anyone wants to chat about at this point?
I don't think so.
I know, Jimmy, you had some gaming.
Oh yeah.
I can talk next week about games. I talk about games all the time.
You found your VR porn, didn't you?
What I want to know is, have you played the Star Trek game yet?
No, I haven't got the Star Trek game yet. Well, the wife got me one of the games for Father's Day. I'm not her father. It's not that kind of family. But obviously the kids haven't started pulling their way yet. So she has to provide the cash. But she
when
got
does that happen, by the way? Do you guys know when the kids actually start fessing up and actually bringing presents themselves?
I wanted to get them into like child modelling or anything, because I don't want to sound, arrogant, but I've got some very pretty children. My boys are very pretty, but she won't do that. So they have to scrounge off of me and her. But she bought me Vader Immortal 3 and Galaxy's Edge, and I did say, look, I'm up for the Star Trek game. I'm keen. She reads reviews. My wife's more of a gamer more than me. She's been playing the Switch all week because I've been off this week. Like, she loves it. And she's
sorry, I like the way you said that. Yeah, she's been playing the Switch all week because I've been off. Like, it's like you're at home. She's like, give me something to distract me from this prick.
Yeah, I'm off. The kids have been ill. I'm watching the kids. She's switching. She's playing the Switch.
I think we got the bum end of the Saint family here. To be honest.
Yeah.
I said to her recently that I'd been watching a very cleavagey lady do some unboxing, getting thousands of hits, and I was like, I think I need to bring you on to the show at some point, just cleavaging it up, opening something, and the amount of hits we'd get would fucking go through the roof.
What was the answer? Yeah, is she on next week? Is she?
Yeah, she's coming. No, she would. She's a big Ghibli fan. She's a gaming fan. You're right. She would. You guys don't even watch WWE anymore, so you would get on better with her than you would with me.
Do you know what, Jimbo? We should do a Ghibli special. We can get her on for a Ghibli special. We'll get her to say what her favourite one is, and we'll all do a watch of it, and we can do a one movie special or something like that.
I'd happily have her come on and do a Ghibli special.
It does mean rebranding. That's the only issue.
Because she's not a man.
I'm sure she wouldn't mind.
I'm open to anything, of course.
I'm sure she wouldn't mind pretending for the night.
She wouldn't care. But anyway, didn't get me the Star Trek game because it's only got three stars on like every review. It doesn't bode well. Like, it says it glitches a lot on the Oculus. But yeah, I played Vader Immortal 3, and I'll talk about Vader Immortal another time. I'd like to do a whole playthrough because the game's incredible. Like, it's so.
I know you put Galaxy's Edge in the notes, and I have I've sampled that too, and I was that's a good experience. But we can talk about
Stu, I had to stop because I was getting sick. It was making me feel sick. Yeah. Something about those first couple of minutes. I was stuck in a cargo hold. I couldn't get out. I was gonna be sick. So I gave it to the wife, and I sat down and watched some old episodes of Star Trek Voyager just to ground myself. That's what I've been watching. Shit, that's what I've been watching. I've gone back. The Star Trek for me. You watch one episode of Star Trek. Doesn't matter what series you're watching, and instantly for me, I can go. I'm going to carry on watching this. It's timeless Star Trek. People ask me for a recommendation of a new show to watch, and I recommend Deep Space Nine every time. Like, fantastic. But sorry, I've
got to get back to that because I watched that. I watched that first season of Deep Space Nine. That's going back a few months ago. But yeah, I will crack on. I'll crack on with Series 2 and beyond over. Hopefully, the next couple of weeks.
Sorry to interrupt, but some live news on the podcast. I've sold my house.
Oh. Hey.
Nice.
Hey.
They accepted my trade negotiations from the company.
Yeah. They watched the podcast, heard the impression, and went, "Yeah, I'll buy that house."
Wow! Congratulations, man!
Congrats, man.
Yeah, I didn't know you have to put in all the enter solicitors' details and everything. So I thought I'd wait on that, but I've got all the documents, so I need to get into the solicitor on Monday probably. And
yeah, all the hard work starts now, doesn't it? Start packing. Or have you been packing?
It's all in boxes still, mate, from when I moved in.
PlayStation 5 never come out of the box, did it?
It did, and then it was back in there because I was shit scared. People looking around would see a PS5 and think, "Oh, we're going to rob this fucker." So it went back in the box.
Where do you live? That sounds awful.
I just don't trust anyone.
All right, fair enough. The streets.
Yeah.
I've sold my cardboard box.
I was going to bloody say something, if I can't remember now.
You're going to put in a bid.
It's going to be the funniest joke we've ever had on the show ever, but it's gone now. Never mind. I've got some bird news.
What?
Yep. As Jim fails us every time.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay,
mate. You imagine though, that week when you find a bit, mate, it's gonna be a belter, isn't it? Your triumphant return with it.
Well, it'll be like my start of the show where I tried to do a Chris Jericho entrance.
All we had was
yeah, all whiz and no pop.
Mm-hmm. Right. First story is terrified boy wakes mum after finding big scary bird staring at her in bed. We've all been there.
This is Labyrinth. This is Labyrinth, man. Yeah.
We both showed our age there, said, didn't we? Oh,
Both
in
showed
Hogwarts, you went Labyrinth.
Our taste in movies as well.
No, you've only got to look behind me.
That's true. That is true.
Sarah Johnson from Southport thought she was dreaming when she saw an owl staring at her from her headboard.
Wow.
The bird stayed a whole hour before deciding it was time to leave. I've had enough of this. I'm off. Mum 6 thought her son had had a bad dream when he woke her up to say there was a scary bird until she opened her eyes and saw it was just an owl staring right at her, not a big northern lass. Sarah Johnson from Southport said it was about 4 a.m. when her son Jack 3 ran into her room and tried alerting her to a big scary bird in the house. She thought her son was still in his fantasy world when she opened her eyes and saw the owl on her headboard.
You're in a fantasy world. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Dad's coming home. Shut the fuck up. You're in a fantasy world.
The mum sprung up and opened all the windows to try and get the owl to leave, but the night bird spent a whole hour with them before finally taking it. It was like she pulled up and had a cup of tea.
How did it get in?
I don't.
Because she had to open all the windows to let it out. How did it get in?
Boy.
Fucking hell, that poor boy. What a shit start to life this kid has had.
This article is sponsored by North Face. Yeah. He looks great, bless him.
Sarah, who works as a phlebotomist. What the hell is one of those? That was my initial question.
Don't they do blood result tests, phlebotomists?
All right. She works in one of the COVID tests.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
My 3-year-old came running in the room saying, "There's a big scary bird with big eyes, mummy." I told him to get back in bed. He was having a bad dream. Get back into your fantasy world.
I bet she didn't say it like that.
No. There we go. I was panicking because I didn't know if this owl was aggressive or not. It's pretty scared, isn't it?
Wow.
That's a sound. I need to know how it got in. If it's a sealed house with no windows open, how the fuck did it get in there?
Luckily for Sarah, it was only her youngest son Jack who woke up during the commotion. Her triplets and 2 eldest. How many kids is she?
Jimmy, is this your wife?
Yeah, well, no, because my wife would have been away with that, going off to see the Goblin King.
Yeah.
It was luckily only her youngest son, not her 2 eldest sons who owned shotguns.
Yeah. They'd have carved it up in seconds.
There we go. So,
What?
Beware.
I think that's lovely. I'd love that. I mean, it's probably shit everywhere, but out. Did we get asked to ask us anything? What's our favourite bird a while ago, or was that just a conversation I had with myself on the
dream
toilet?
You had, you freak.
Yeah.
When you concocted bird news and bird puns as an actual output for this show, you went, "This could lead to the what's our favourite bird."
That's all I've been waiting for.
It's a sickness. It's a sickness.
Well, I've always thought Robin, but now with that story, I'm going to say owl.
My end finally is more bird news.
Oh, double bird news.
Double bird.
Doubling
and you may have seen this.
Doubling
This is quite a popular story during the week. Petty neighbour saws tree exactly in half after becoming frustrated over branches of trees hanging over their driveway.
Do you know what? Before
it was also bird song related. There was a.
Before it goes on, I would love to say that this is the level of pettiness that I have, but I don't have the effort to do that. I'd have gone, I really want to cut that in half, but I can't be fucked because that looks like a lot of work.
Well, again, this is Sheffield. This is up Mideon's way, really. Bharat Mistry and his family were gutted when his next door neighbours called in tree surgeons to cut off the branches of the 16-foot tall fir tree that stood for 25 years.
Oh, do you know what? I like that. I'm back in the effort of going. All I had to do is pick up the phone and get someone else to do it for me.
Oh, the drastic action came after a year-long dispute between Mr. Mystery and neighbours Graham and Irene Lee, both in their 70s. He claimed Mr. and Mrs. Lee had complained birds in the tree were making too much noise and making a mess of the drive of his bungalow in Briar Close, a quiet cul-de-sac where houses sell for between 160 and 220,000 pounds. Pictures of the tree have gone viral and turned into memes on social media. So I mean, that
I
is.
I wonder whether your house value goes up because you can say yes, like we are the house with half a tree. It's fucking amazing. Look at it.
It is good effort, isn't it?
It's weird, isn't it?
Reminds me of that episode of Steptoe and Son, where they Harold and what's his face have a dispute where they just cut everything in half, the whole house in half. You know, they're fighting over halves of the TV.
A wrestling news update. Apparently, Tyler Breeze has gone.
Tyler Breeze.
Oh,
yeah, we predicted it.
Poor old Tyler Breeze.
Mm-hmm. The prophecy has come true.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I think I have seen that episode, Stu.
Yeah.
It's a classic one. Mm-hmm. Well, they haven't done the trunk though, have they? So that's good. They've only done.
Yeah.
It's the same in The Simpsons, isn't it? Where Skinner lives with his mum, and they cut their house in half, and she covers her half of the TV, and he was watching The Man Without a Face with Mel Gibson. And it was only near the end of the film, and he realised that he was disfigured.
Brilliant. Oh, fantastic!
Oh, Stu, that's when we were young, and I used to borrow all your Simpsons videos because you used to record them all off TV.
Yeah,
and I borrowed them for me and my dad to watch.
Brilliant stuff.
Do you know, me and my dad spent many hours watching all those. You were a part of mine and my dad's childhood.
Glad I could help.
Your recordings of The Simpsons. You'd record about 13 on one video. Just like sit there all day.
And that was the good shit as well. That's when it was good.
Yeah. That's some good bird news there, Stu. Really.
Thank you.
I'm going to bring some next week. I'm going to bring it.
Well, there we are. That was episode 102. It's nice to get back to a normal episode, really, to be honest. I don't know how you boys felt, but it was good.
Loved it.
Sorry, mate.
No
sorry. I was reading to see if there was anything else going on with the wrestlers. Sorry.
Cheers to Mid for his impending house sale. That's excellent news.
Yeah, man. It's solicitors and everything now. So yeah, I wish I'd actually trained to be a solicitor, and then you wouldn't have to bother with any of this crap, would you? Just sort it all out yourself if you're allowed to do that. That is.
They're the worst part of selling a house or buying a house. Solicitors, they don't give a shit. I visited my solicitors once, and the windowsill in his office was full of dead flies. And for me, that was a metaphor for how much he cared about his time or anything. Just like, honestly, about 12 dead flies just on his windowsill. It's like,
maybe they're the equivalent of the Funko Pops you got behind him. Really, he collects them.
He was a collector.
That one's Bob. That's my favourite. That one. I've had him for 20 years.
I'll get round to it at some point. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. I'll probably kill myself at some point. It's terrible. Tinkler Solicitors, Ipswich. If just been out there. Probably your solicitors.
Right, let's just go through and thank the people in the chat. Thanks to Chris Lacey, Cloud Gaming Dad, Midge, he joined us, Colin Doolan, Carl Meyer, Chris Lacey, I think I said. What else we got? That's it. Thank you, boys. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Before I wrap up this week's episode, I just want to say thank you again to those who have subscribed to the channel over this past week. It's been great. Trying to go for that push for 100. So I mean, we're getting there. 71 as of time of recording. So thanks to everyone that's popped along and subbed.
Well, Stu, we had an old friend from school give us a shout, didn't we, on the group, Nicole Pinkney?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how this show has brought back many connections? Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see these old names pop up.
Yeah, lovely.
If you want to become a patron of the show, you can head over to patreon.com/renaissancecast, and you can get your name up on our wall of fame. I've got the envelopes now. I'm planning on sending out the badges this week. So
because you said that, because for a minute I thought, fuck, I think I've just binned the badges.
Yeah, mate, no. What?
But if you haven't sent them yet, it's all good.
No, it's it's June, nearly July.
No,
it's
fine.
crack on.
As I say, I was more worried that I'd put it in a box somewhere and it had gone forever.
Yeah, my thanks to Seddon, Jimmy, and Mid for joining me. As always, the audio presentation of this will be available on your podcast feed, likely tomorrow morning. Again, here I am. I haven't got used to where stuff is on this yet, so I'm still faffing around, trying to find. There we go. Okay, I've got it. Yeah. Thank you as always for your support. Until next time, please take care and goodbye.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow.